Bye, now gabay. Kumbati ba? Sus, my goodness. Oh, oh. Okay lang.
Okay sa may kasturyan sa mayor's office ka na kay may kalit mo na siya, di ba kaya kung may ganda sa buwan katakal mo na siya, off limits na gina na mo maalikapon. Parintin mo na niya, yan, nag-negotiate mo siya, kung siya siyang sulti, kasi kasturya. Pero basta, di ba na sa tugod, katawag niya si Sopronio, kanta ng Strangans na, sa finale, niya. Yan kung di ba siya masulti, ako lang ba kaya NBC mo po makano na yan, mapalilas ko niya ba, hindi siya patuon, di ba? Hindi kami ba palupad? Ano ko na muna sa mayor's office, may kasi na, sorry pa, ako ano lang mo direct, sorry.
Pero,
Hindi na siya authorized.
kani nga, unsa may ganamay ka mo?
Tama mo, sorry, direct na, kay Juan, alam mo ko yung mga technicalities ang nalay sa court, not supposedly hindi na siya allowed to perform anywhere, kahit na ako yung gadaan sa contract.
Mo lagi. So, unsa may ganamay may tabo? Nga di siya makanta?
Kaya na na-post na siya, kaya din na siya po niya, na siya makanta daw. So, na-alarm ko, nalipatan na, kaya kaya ba na malitong ticket, di ba? Yan, natin mo, sa may part 1 ng gusto sa tao, still, appearance pa rin po na, di ba?
Ano sa mga concert ni Day?
Yeah, Sunday ang sinulog, di ba?
Ugma ang iyang concert. Ang imong concert, ugma.
Yeah, after niya.
After ya.
Okay naman, may pasuyan lang sa
Okay ang dato kung i-announce gikan gyud niyo, di ba? Like, no, what I mean ba, ang first announcement gyud ato pag human sa concert sa Waterfront, mo announce siya, di ba? By the way, I'll be singing a song or two. I hope you invite ba kung unahon nila ma-preempt ni no, di ba? So,
please, I don't know about people sa transactions.
Parente na siya ni.
Pagpunta na ko ng baby, sa aming Marby, ang director sa sinulog, i-confirm siya na kanta daw.
Di ba, pero kasi parente ni Aida.
Dito po no.
Parente yun na sila.
Dapat yung maya yun.
Sige. So, sabi ka, kung sabi nga, nakikistorya nga, Sige.
So, yun na lang, ipakontak siya ko directly.
Sige. Okay. Sige, Mark. Sige. Sold out, nakawa pa. Sold out, nakawa pa. Oh, sold out, nakawala pa. Okay. Oh, sige, kakalisa ka mag-voice over? Siya voice over? Wa mo siguro tawa na ka. Give me an hour. I'll check my schedule right now, ha? Maragwa. Sige. Mo lagi. I'll contact the mayor now, ha? Sige. Well, i-text ko ng pangani ko. Ako na i-copy paste. I-text ko ng pangani. Sige.
Step forward and two steps. Step forward and two steps backward. Raising your arms up and down. So it's so basic that you can all do it.
Looks like this new app, RedNote, is exploding. And the last time something from China went this viral was... It's not important. We need to see what people are discovering once they're on.
I made an investment. She ended up going to the market and sent me a picture of her local market. Corn on the cob, 94 cents. What would it be here in America, you might ask? $7. Is this what they don't want us to know?
That's not a good sign for America. I was made to think a communist dictator was bad, but check out these corn prices. Daddy like it. Come on, America, fight back. If Chinese people show you their cheap corn, you show them our robust free press. Okay. Or you show them our fair and impartial justice and that, okay? Dave and Buster's. Show them our Dave and Buster's. Looks like this new app, RedNote, is exploding. And the last time something from China went this viral was... It's not important. We need to see what people are discovering once they're on.
I mean,
So it's so basic that you can
this is a special receipt.
Maria, napuno ka sa grasya.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy, Cookies, and Aminaw Casablanca na radio station, 105.1 TMC, Best of Us. Magdasal nyo and those rights to TV, apas na ho, ay building, rago, namin building sa casa ko. Pinakuan, relax, murag bao. Hindi ko man sa work, sa business, magtago. Private jet is in, and I got my I just wanna have a little body, get out of the door, Money to me that we need this. 7 kilowatts, we gotta plug it in. We just got on and keep rolling and rolling. Life is fucked up and keep going and going. The feeling so nice to keep looking and looking. In my own team, there's that thing on the stage. Staying in our own lane. One of us sitting in the lead. We doing our own thing. We fuck, but that's not the me. Much love to find. Much love to hide. Somebody, somebody. Thanks you, mata sa'yo and get to know. Right to TV, apat na ho. Ay, pinabuilding na o rago. Namin building sa kasa ko. Pinamuhan, pag-relax, surat, bago. Hindi ko man sa words, sa business, ramot ako. You're a beautiful sunrise. Make the day so bright. Your smile is contagious. Such a cute surprise. You'll get a new way, you'll get a new way.
But yeah, I think the first word that comes to mind when I think of Sinulog Back in the City is definitely Brilliant.
Get a new way, get a new way, get a new way. Such a good vibe. Your smile is so good, baby. You don't need a thing to be free. Such an inspiration, baby. More than anything to me. La 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 la. La 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 la. A beautiful sunrise. You are not a coffee. It wakes me up so fast. All I need is a morning kiss that makes my heart sing. We got it away, get it away. Life isn't so bad. Get it away, get it away, get it away. Such a good vibe. Your smile is so good, baby. You don't need a thing to be free. Such an inspiration, baby. More than anything to me. La 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 la. La 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 la. A beautiful sunrise to me. Your smile is so good, baby. You don't need a thing to be free. Such an inspiration, baby. More than anything to me. La 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 la.
Word a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So how's that? Like, what's the process?
It's
And how
not,
long will it take for you to?
it probably shouldn't
Well.
take me that long. I still haven't talked to my professor about it.
Okay.
It's likely going to be just 1 or 2 additional outputs
Okay.
that I need to pass
Okay.
to her. And yeah, I pretty much don't have any classes anymore.
Okay. So what are you doing in Cebu? I'm just wondering. Like, is this like
Well, I'm hoping to look for work here.
okay?
Actually.
So that's your plan.
Mm,
After you finish your removal, you're gonna look for work.
yeah.
What sort of work are you looking at?
Well, I'm actually hoping to get to work here,
Yes,
sir.
so to work in media.
Mm,
Okay. But you're a mass comm graduate, right?
Uh,
Is that communications?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Communication.
Okay. So what was your plan like before we met? But like, you wanted to have experience
In radio.
and
Yes.
did you want to pursue like something else after that, or would be
Mm.
because sometimes like people like want to pursue law, for example.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like after communication, because I think communication is also nice preparation for law, diba?
Yeah.
So is that your plan?
It's part of my plan.
Okay.
I'm something I'm considering.
Okay. So what's your timetable? Like,
I don't really have like a strict timetable laid out, but I did plan on working first before potentially
Okay.
pursuing law.
Okay.
It's just something I'm I'm leaving out as like an option for myself,
Okay.
but it's not like it's set in stone.
Okay.
Anything like that.
Can you come here for a little while?
Mm.
I just want to show you something, because I think one of the things that you're here for is to familiarize yourself with the thing, right? Because we're doing a show with Chansey, diba?
Yes.
That's the chat group, diba?
Yeah, yeah.
So this is the mixer, right?
Mm.
And this is for this particular mic, and this one is for that mic, and that one is for that mic, right?
Mm.
So this is the main volume.
Yeah.
I mean, this controls the volume of practically everything, and this is the volume for the earphones. So right now, this is playing. Listen to it. So that's what's out on the air.
Mm.
If you notice, it's off, right?
Mm.
So the same goes with the other headphones. So and then this is the master volume. So this is the volume for this is the volume for everything, but this is the volume for everything and on the air.
Oh. Okay.
So what happens is if I turn this off, everything is off, right?
Mm.
But if you want to control the volume of what comes out on the air, this is the volume to control. So it's possible that you can hear us here,
Mm.
but we're off the air
Mm.
because this is the one that comes out on the air. So you never touch this one.
Yeah. Okay.
And these are the buttons that hold the different sound effects. Let's just say.
Yeah. Is it preset the sound
Oh,
effects?
good. I'm sorry. And this is in this volume control. Notice that?
Mm.
So that was heard on the air. So we can assign here like different sound effects, but and move to the. I'll teach you how to
Preset and then
how to load your sound effects if ever it's necessary. I'm just teaching you so in the future you're aware. But kanisha, this is on, and if you press it, it becomes off.
Mhm.
If it brightens up. So there are two options. You can just turn this on, and then turn the volume level higher or lower or off, or you can just leave it there and then turn it
Turn it
off and turn it on, depending on your style,
Mm.
whatever you want. So, ano siya, on siya, but there's no volume, so nothing comes out. Now something comes out, everything comes out.
Mm.
But if you turn it off like that, mawag talaga sa. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So, ganun sila, on and off kaya pa na siya, like, off, on. Sa brighter gali, off siya.
Mm.
Brighter, off.
Okay.
Sige ba, tingnan ko ito. So, unsa may sabutan ninyo ni Kuan ni what did you guys talk about that I didn't catch
Oh, with Gen Z.
with Chansey and what's the plan for the show?
Oh well.
By the way, do you need the water?
Sir.
Do you need the water?
Oh, it's fine, sir. I brought my own.
Okay.
Gun. What Chansey brought up to me initially was that you were looking for student talents, and potentially doing student-related shows.
Mm.
Although it seems that may not come to entirely into fruition, aside from the incoming interns, because it seems like many of the DYUP Sugbo students, it's just like academic requirements and all that can be pretty heavy, and I don't think a lot of them can consistently find free time for like a weekly schedule or something like that.
There are actually a bunch of students who applied,
Mm.
emailed me, and but I didn't really give them a response because I wanted to see exactly what's going on. Because there were like three of them who emailed me and wanted me to know that we're interested to become interns, right? But I didn't respond to those. I was thinking that Chansey might know something about this, and
Mm.
but anyway, continue.
No, yeah.
So,
So
you feel na dili sila ganahan?
no, it's not that, sir. The interns are the ones the DYUP Sugbo students, the radio station students there are like doing that as like a part of a school organization, and the ones who are coming here as student interns, they're the ones that are really interested in working here.
But
Mainly as like part of our internship
Yeah,
program in schools for their academic requirements. I think they're part of the batch. I was part of their first internship program. I was their classmate for their first internship program. It was my second internship program, and I was trying to because we vote on like which internship programs are run. We have the choice of either radio, TV, writing, and I forgot what the fourth one
you
was.
vote on it?
Yeah, we vote on it, and depending on like which has the most votes, that's where that's the programs that will open up basically. Last time I was trying to convince them to vote for a radio internship because I also wanted to do a radio internship, but unfortunately we didn't get enough votes because apparently a lot of them decided that they would vote for a radio internship for their second internship, not their first internship. So I wasn't able to join them for this
Okay.
current round of internships,
Okay.
which
It's a second already.
yeah, this is their second. I'm already done with my internships. So yeah, the students who are applying for internships here, so they're the ones who are like interested also in doing radio related or media in the future. But the one that Chansey approached me back during the first semester when he brought it up to me was a student run program on your station. And he was hoping to rope in the DYUP Sugbo, the radio organization of UP Sugbo, their students into that. But it seems like a lot of them, they also have like other organizations that they're also a part of. So they're pressed for time.
So the concept of the show, babe, like,
Mm.
nakita mo sa title ni.
Ewan ko yan.
Gugma ito. Tambag mo Chansey.
Yeah, tambag mo Chansey.
So, do you have any idea what the show's about?
Love advice talk show.
Okay.
Mm.
So who did Leo ask to join? Like who's the team behind it?
I don't think Chansey has finalized it yet. I was also still planning on talking to him about that as well.
Okay.
So he hasn't opened up the GC yet, right? He hasn't made the secondary GC yet, so I'm still waiting for that as well.
what do you guys
I think the first one.
what do you want to talk about, like you personally, but like
Hmm.
if you had a show, a talk show,
Yeah, it's
what would it be?
that was the show I kind of also pitched to you a while back, sir. The one that's
No, I'm not talking about a show. What do you want to talk about?
it's really fun.
What if there's a topic, one particular topic that you can talk about all day, what would it
It most definitely be gaming. And,
be? Gaming.
Yeah.
Like what particular game? There's so many gaming.
Oh well, I could cover mostly fun. Well, my main interests lie in MOBA games like League of Legends, Dota, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang. Those are like the three biggest MOBAs out there. The others are kind of like niche already, but that's like the main my main interest. But I also have interest in other types of games,
Okay.
first-person shooters, third-person
So,
shooters.
like, so, do you have any experience in terms of doing what do you call that? Play-by-play
play-by-play.
announcing for
Announcing.
games.
None, sir. Actually,
Have you tried doing it yourself? Like because
on
you
my
can
own.
because you can do that, right? You
Yeah.
can just watch a game because I see that a lot. Like people just watching games and it's an entire YouTube show, right?
Yes, yes.
Have you tried that now?
I have tried fun. I haven't tried like making videos of it, but I do watch a lot of let's play.
What do you call that? What do you call that content? What do you call that genre?
Let's play content.
Now, what do you call that genre when people annotate or play-by-play voice a game? Like, what do you call that genre? You know, when they
Not necessarily. They're not necessarily playing it themselves.
some of them are actually playing it. Some of them are just watching it and then they're just
Well,
what
the
do you call-
ones
what do you
the
call
ones where they're playing, it's called let's play content,
okay,
and the ones where they're more
announcing.
announcing or reacting
Oh,
to plays,
oh.
that's called reaction content.
Reaction content.
Yes.
So you haven't done any reaction content.
I haven't done.
Why
either.
not? Why not? It looks like something that you would automatically do.
Yeah, maybe yeah, but I haven't really. I don't have a camera or a mic of my own, so
Okay.
I haven't tried doing it. Although
So you can do it with your phone, okay?
you could potentially, yeah. Pero
Your phone has a camera and a microphone, right?
yeah. Pero currently we haven't been able to set up our PC in.
But you can do that with your phone.
Yeah,
Oh.
with my phone. If you're,
Because no matter your requirements, like what if you just watch the game and then you just annotate?
you could do that. Where you probably need two phones. You need one for the screen,
Okay.
and then one to record yourself,
Okay. So that you can actually watch the game.
or record your reaction.
So it's not live.
If you're making the content,
Oh.
like if you're talking about making the content, sorry,
No, for example, you get a game, you get an old game, and then you just annotate.
annotate it.
Oh.
Not necessarily posting it online or.
No, whatever you want. So you need two phones for that. I mean,
If you're going to be recording it and then posting it online,
do you see yourself doing it here? Because we have two studios here, and we have tons of cameras.
Yeah, I could definitely see myself doing it. It may take like at the very least getting used to it, but I think it's something I'm definitely interested in doing.
But the thing with that, Magud, what I notice is the speed. Like because the game is so fast, right?
It can be.
Most of the games are really really fast. So because it's like a game, right? So it's so chaotic, but
Yeah.
and I noticed that ikaw murag medyo mas mahimutang man ka, di ba? So
Yeah.
would you be able to would your personality fit the chaos of a game?
Well,
Di mo man siya, di ba?
Yeah. I think ang pinaka-common nga imo makita with like Filipino casters
Yeah.
when it comes to video games is shoutcasting,
Yeah,
which is more like that, very
Yeah.
very
Energetic,
chaotic
energetic,
and,
yeah.
and energetic.
Oh.
I don't know if I'd fit. To
Yeah,
that
that's why.
style.
So
Yeah, but it's I think
so there's another genre there for.
yeah, there are
So
people who are
there's shoutcasting, and then what's the other genre?
well, the shoutcasting is like the main one. That's just how they termed it because
Yeah,
that's
because-
the most common.
Yeah. So what's the other genre?
It's just like regular casting, like the type you would see in like or hear in like a basketball game.
Yeah, but it's not a basketball game.
Yeah, you can still see that type of
Now,
commentary. Yeah, in video games where they're not necessarily shouting all the time,
Okay.
where they can break it down in a calm demeanor.
Yeah.
They can break the game down in a calm demeanor.
But so ang game ano ni basketball sad.
No, not necessarily.
So
I-
what's a calm game, for example? Is there such a thing?
Oh no, it's not about matching the tone of the game. It's about how.
What's a calm game? Like what game would have what game would a soft spoken shoutcaster as an oxymoron
Yeah.
announcer be appropriate?
Well, if we're talking about the competitive, most of the games.
Kanang kuan kanang imong Mobile Legends
Mm,
pwede na kalma dili mo na definitely not, right?
probably not. No.
Sa mga game, if you had to annotate, sorry for the word, if you had to shoutcast a game, like, what would it be? Mubagay si mga persona.
Off of the top of my head.
Like a slow, it's gonna be like maybe like a what, chess? Like, he's moving the pawn.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that.
I'm serious. Like it's a serious. It's an idiotic question, but it comes from somewhere sincere. Like
Yeah, no, I wouldn't call it a young question. I think it's a very real question to ask. Pero, I'd say sir
by the way, don't call me sir. Call me Jiggy lang.
okay.
Especially on the air.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Jiggy. I'd say I have watched like video game broadcasts of
Okay.
MOBA games.
Mobile games. Okay.
No, MOBA. As in,
MOBA is a specific game.
It's a specific genre.
MOBA.
It's-
How do you spell it? MOBA.
yeah, MOBA.
Okay.
Multiplayer online battle arenas.
Okay.
That's the genre of League of Legends, Dota, and Mobile Legends Bang Bang. Those types of games are called MOBAs.
Okay.
And you can see casters who are more on not necessarily on the erratic, very chatty side. Okay.
But
They usually compared with the chatty type though.
okay. MOBA.
Yes. It's not necessarily a requirement that you need to be very chatty. You could talk about video games in a more commentating about the games in a more calm demeanor. And then one thing that I think is to my benefit, I would say, is that video games can bring out the emotion, no matter how calm of my usual demeanor may be.
Yeah, but sometimes, like, especially if it's saan ang game, Starcraft na.
Yes, Starcraft.
Gagmay man kana sa nanoy.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Even if it's in a widescreen,
Mm.
there's always like a panoramic view of
Yeah.
everything, right? So
Mm.
if you don't explain it to the viewer well, then
You're gonna be lost.
they don't understand what the hell you're screaming about.
Yeah, that's
So you have to explain it, but
yeah.
right? But are there games that, because I feel like if I kind of understand StarCraft
Mm.
because my son plays it, but I get carried away. It's the emotion of the voice
Mm.
that sort of elicits emotion from me.
Yeah.
Makes me want to react in a emotional way, not what I'm looking at.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but what are you saying that the games are what do you mean when you say that the games are
can bring out
can bring out the emotion? Because StarCraft certainly, because it's so small,
Yeah,
even if it's in a widescreen,
yeah,
it's the voice that excites me, right?
yes.
Are there games na like maybe kanang Starfight, kanang what Starfight, kanang sumagay bitaw, what do you call it? What do you call that?
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter, or maybe that's
Yeah.
the one, right? Do you need adaptation for that?
Well, yeah, when you're talking about like beat 'em up games like those, usually commentators will focus on like the combos.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of them have like preset combos, and those combos have like names. And what commentators will do is they'll familiarize themselves with the names of these combos.
Yeah.
And what players typically like to do in these games. So they'll commentate, oh, he's doing this combo, he's doing that combo. And then they'll talk about, oh, parry, a break. So parry is when you
Who's
immediately...
Perry?
Parry is like when you immediately block an incoming attack, and break is when you break the other player's defense. So yeah, you have the option to like try to block as long as you can,
Okay.
but there are moves that can break blocks. So that's like a mechanic in these kinds of games.
I'm gonna, because we're live on YouTube. We're also live on our on my personal page. In fact, if you want, you can also put it on your page. Do you go? Do you have like a? You don't go live?
No, I typically don't like. I don't go do Facebook Live.
Ano man?
Not my style.
What's your style, man?
I mean, like, I guess I am more of an introverted person at heart. But one thing that I really enjoyed
But
with
radio is the opposite of.
that's one thing that
Media
I really
is-
enjoyed with my
Media is the
experience.
opposite of.
Yeah, in media and radio broadcasting, like since the campus journalism days, yeah, it's really pushed me to be
Less.
less introverted, a bit more outgoing.
Okay.
Although I do have my introverted tendencies, I do appreciate, this is an industry that will change me for the better.
Really?
That's certainly one way of I'm looking at it.
You think that radio can change you?
For the better, or yeah, and it's where my interests lie as well.
No. What do you think? Why do you say you're introverted, man?
Most days I don't.
Dito ka nakaligod, ba? Swipe ko, no? I'm gonna try to find a good angle.
Okay.
Huwag kang i-landscape sa. Clip ko na. Let's run, huh?
Okay.
Ask me to move the camera. You wanna bring your water or something?
Sure.
Okay. Conrad, you like music?
Yes, sir.
What kind of music you like?
Typically rock.
Huh?
Typically rock.
What kind of rock? Like local music? No, you don't like local music.
I haven't been able to explore local music a lot.
Why not? You
Typically, I
You
usually
live-
stay at home.
you live in the Philippines in Cebu. What do you mean? What's stopping you? Your
Okay.
colonial mentality?
Maybe.
Huh?
Maybe I do have a preference for English songs.
Ngano man?
Wala. For the longest time, kay English hero ako niya. I had really had a lot of trouble understanding Bisaya and Tagalog.
Ngano man?
Well, okay, when my parents, when I was growing up sa house akong tita, she had this like speak English owning a rule.
Ngano man?
I'm not entirely sure why she had that rule in her house, but that's the rule she put up in her house, and my parents kind of adopted it.
Mm.
Their thought process about it was that a lot of the subjects in school are being taught in English, so why not?
Mm.
It could help give us an edge or something along the lines of that. And because of that, for a long time, I could not understand Bisaya
Mm.
and Tagalog, especially. But over time, I started to speak Bisaya better, understand Bisaya better. But maybe it's just because of growing up. I find English more expressive.
Yeah, because you started with it.
Yeah, and that's why I can resonate with it more. Recently, I've been listening to a few local artists.
Sabot ka?
Yeah, makasabot rin
Unsa
sila.
man kaysa man ko?
Well, nakoy mga kaila who make their own music.
Neko.
Anessa Tiburon from Butuan.
Okay.
She recently released her first album. Yeah, I got to listen to.
Can you send me a copy of her
Oh, sure.
album?
Right now, sir.
Do you have a copy of the song?
She's released it on digital platforms.
But do you have a copy? Do you have like a copy in your hard drive or no?
A link.
Link in chat.
Mm,
No, it's okay. I look for it here.
okay.
So is it on YouTube? No.
She's released it on Apple,
But I'm
Apple
sure it's-
Music,
but I'm sure-
Spotify.
but I'm sure it's in YouTube, right?
Actually, I'm not sure if she released it on YouTube. I think so.
Okay. Binisaya sa dili.
Oh, sorry. Bisaya.
So let's just talk, man. Let's just have like a casual conversation. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Like a conversation about nothing and everything. How's that?
Yeah, that sounds.
Sounds like nothing, right?
Sounds like we're bound for an interesting conversation.
A conversation about nothing.
And everything at the same time.
You are live. What are you going to do about it? 105.1 TMC, the best of us.
Actually, sir, is there Wi-Fi? My data's a little slow here.
But you can say, but you can, wait. Well, later lang, okay lang.
Sige.
Pag yung wifi na ba, subukan ito sa buwan. Ito sa audio speed.
Ah.
Speed, okay speed ba? You know Speed ba? No?
Yeah, I saw that he came here.
He got a little tick up. Gave him an L.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's just Philippine Wi-Fi speed.
Pansin na ba yung kaninga? There was an interview by one of the top business consultants in the Philippines,
Mm.
and he was asked about why are the nations like Vietnam, Japan, like all other nations, Asian nations are ahead of us,
Mm.
and his answer was, we are still arguing about something that the Vietnamese and the Malaysians and the Thai have already decided on a long time ago. It is that our educational system does not use the native tongue to teach their students, because if we understand something from a foreign language, our grasp of concepts and ideas is not full.
Mm.
That's why that we don't have innovations like cell phones, and we don't make cars, because our understanding of concepts are very shallow.
Mm.
So that's why there's lesser innovation in our country because of that.
Mm.
The other countries have already decided that a long time ago. We're still arguing about it now because we think that knowing English is an advantage. Of course, it's an advantage in many ways, right? Like we host BPOs here, right?
Mm.
What is that? Like we're just employing people. We're not inventing stuff.
Mm.
Whenever talk someone, that's his belief na, because our grasp of concepts and ideas and theories is not full,
Mm.
because we don't understand it from our culture. We understand it from a foreign culture, diba? Because that's what words are. Words are created because a culture deems that thing important, diba?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you don't understand something from we can never innovate, because ang atong context is really the West, right?
Mm.
So if there's a word in the West, that's a word, that's a thing, that's an idea, that's a theory that the West deems important. So when we grasp that concept, that idea, dili na to ma-apply diri kay contextually it's not from our
Yeah.
tongue, it's from another cultures, di ba? So mo yan sulti ba yan? It's because of that, That's why we don't have as much innovation as Koreans.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have been. Well, we're also a relatively young republic, but Singapore is a younger republic, or
Yeah.
like other countries are younger than us. But anyway, that's just his thought. There's so much to decipher there, but I think that's probably part of that too, right? Grasp of a theory, grasp of a concept. Pag-listen to guy, but we gotta start somewhere. Like, imagine translating a mathematical book. Imagine translating a science book.
Yeah.
This is kayo, di ba?
Yeah.
We gotta start somewhere. Anyway, that's just his thoughts, man. I forgot his name. I actually like this guy. I just forgot his name.
But, it's certainly interesting theory.
Yeah. What's your full name there, Ralph?
Rafael Chavez.
Chavez?
Yes.
Chavez?
No. Rafael Chavez.
Hi, Chavez. That's like a Spanish name, right?
Yeah.
And, we really can't help but be colonial, right? Because we were like colonized by the Spanish for such a long time, right?
Yeah.
But understanding our tendency, I think, is already half the battle, right? Understanding our tendencies also gonna that's also one of the reasons kung I don't know if you read this, but that's also one of the reasons kung ano nga the Filipino it's so easy for a Filipino to to go to another country, especially go to the West, like Europe and the United States, because we're so colonial. Like we understand how the Spaniards behave, we understand how the Americans behave. We speak their language. Sayo naman tayo. That's why our mentality is also to leave, because we can adapt easily to go to the United States, because we understand the Americans, because they were our colonizers. If you want to go to Europe, it's so easy to understand the European part, because it was the Europeans who colonized us. And everything. So muna ko na nga, we're easily adaptable, and we're also more it's in our nature to just leave, but because we're colonial, we love what's not ours. What about like it's ingrained in us, but whether subliminally or like subliminally or even like
Unconsciously.
consciously, even consciously, it's ingrained in us. That's why like if you look at our usage of the internet, we surf mostly Western content. A lot of us, if you look at the mix of where people from the Philippines, what they view, they usually are like mostly Americans or Western content.
Certainly one of the people who does that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's not a bad thing. It's also not a good thing. It's just a thing. And knowing that, having full knowledge of our tendencies is important, right? It's important. Just knowing that, but just knowing that is it's not a good thing, but at least so you understand why you behave a certain way, why we behave a certain way as a people. I don't know, man. Let's just talk about it on the maybe you can put your headphones para you'll get that.
Okay.
Nakababahala, makablema. Para dyan, Blemex for Kids ang pambato ko. Ang Blemex for Kids ang gawa sa lagundi.
You have any thoughts on Sigmund?
Pinalalabas ang plema.
Well, I am not a Catholic, so I have not.
So what are you?
Protestant.
Okay. So do you look at it? How do you look at it? How do you look at Sigmund?
Well, for the most part, I see it as like an extended break.
No. What I mean is, how does your tribe look at it?
How do you typically born again Christians don't really celebrate it.
Do they look at it like negatively?
I think to an extent, yes, certainly do. I mean, part of Bitsenor is like celebrating saints, right? A particular saint.
No. What? You don't understand?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I personally don't understand it.
It's like the child Jesus. Anthony is the child Jesus.
That's what that is. I thought it was a saint. My bad.
So you never took the time to
understand it.
understand it?
Not really, because I've never participated in it.
Yeah, I know, but why would you say that your tribe is hating on it?
I wouldn't say hating on it, but views it negatively.
That's what so
well, there's the
didn't you wonder why? And then
well, I think
investigate what that is all about.
I think primarily there's the whole view that a lot of the figurines, the statues are idols, idolatry, and that's like the main thing that they don't like about they dislike about that. At the very least, that's the main thing that I would see. Like just
don't worry,
based on-
I'm not.
they're trying to press me. Right?
I'm not for or I'm not for religion, so I hate them all equally. so
Yeah.
it's just interesting that you don't know. No, it's actually the child Jesus.
Yeah, I never understood that because
You're busy on the hate.
no, not that.
You never understood that because.
Uh, from what I know, just what I know about uh, Catholicism is that there's a lot of saints and that typically there's like an assigned fiesta for a saint
Yeah.
and along the lines of that. So I didn't really bother to familiarize myself with the saints themselves.
But you were born. You're born a Protestant already.
Yeah, into a Protestant family.
Okay.
Yes. So that's like part of the reason I wasn't aware of that. We're not Catholic, so I didn't. I don't really understand Catholic mass that much. I have participated in Catholic mass though.
Can you read an Bisaya? No.
Yeah, because I would early.
Do you can you read it well?
Like
Read a news in Bisaya. No.
Read news
In Bisaya.
I think I've certainly based off what my old radio broadcasting advisor told me, mas ni-improve naman daw akong Binisaya compared sa una. Like, dili kayo evident ang accent na ko pagka-English ero. Like, unlike sa una jud nga, klaro jud kayo. So I haven't tried to do it recently, like reading a Bisaya script. Pero I'm open to trying.
Put on your headphones. 105.1 TMC. Atong tak na karon 2 minutos
Nung ilabay sa alas 10. You're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. And right across me, we have a brand new special guest in the studios of 105.1 TMC. We have Ralph Chavez. Good morning, Ralph.
Good morning.
Hold on, give me a second. How about this?
Hello, hello.
Can you hear yourself?
No, I can't really.
How about that?
Yeah, I can hear myself.
Better, better?
Better, better.
Maayong buntag ni Badia, Ralph Chavez.
Mayang buntag.
Ralph Chavez here is a student from the University of the Philippines. He's actually about to graduate communications, right?
Yes, sir.
So he's here, and we're just exploring any potential that he has to perhaps try to be part of broadcasting here in Cebu. Ralph, tell us a little bit more about yourself. Who is Ralph Chavez? Go ahead, sir.
Well, I am, as you mentioned, sir, I am a humble student from the University of the Philippines, Cebu, studying BA Communication. And after 4 years in campus journalism, I really developed an interest in broadcast media, and because of that, I'm hoping to one day be a part of professional broadcast media.
What is it about media? When you say media, what do you mean, and what is it about media that fascinated you? What is it about it? Because I have my own story on how I got here. But how about you? What is it about media that you like so much?
Well, if we're talking about how I got into media.
No. Why do you like media?
What do I like?
What is it about it? And what do you mean by media? Do you mean radio? Do you mean television? Do you mean print? Or what like all of it?
Well, I think I developed an interest for it overall. Pero initially my main interest jud kay na jud siya sa radio.
Nganong radio man ba? Why did you find radio fascinating?
Well, for me personally, it started with in 8th grade,
8th grade.
where
Wow.
yeah,
Bata pa good.
lagi. Yeah, it started back then when a classmate of mine mentioned that, hey, Raf, maybe you should try out for the radio broadcasting team because I feel like you'd fit right in there.
Nganong nakaingon man sila na? Nganong nakaingon man sila nga you fit in right there? What does that mean?
I honestly, I still haven't, I haven't gotten around rather to asking them why they felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something that they mentioned to me back in 8th grade, and it piqued my interest then. But wala dyan ako na follow through ang ilang recommendation back then because at that time I wasn't even sure if I was going to be in the same school come the next year. So because because of that uncertainty, I didn't act on their recommendation.
Okay.
But come the next year, I was in the same school, so I remembered what they brought up, and because it piqued my interest, I decided to try it out, and I brought it up with my friend again, the one who recommended that I try radio, and he was rather pushy. He literally dragged me to the radio broadcasting room, or rather the English publication of our school at the time, and he had me just try out on the spot in front of our the advisor / radio coach of the NARA, the English publication of Agusa National High School, and it just really took off from there. I did an on the spot reading of a radio broadcasting script, a radio broadcasting news script, and that was pretty much it. That just started my journey in radio broadcasting.
So, but what is it about it that you like so much?
Well, for one thing, because we're in the digital media and things have advanced so far, and radio is kind of on the down end in that aspect.
Actually, radio is not on the down end. Radio is evolving, and it is becoming transforming into a different form.
Yeah.
Like all of the things that you see on radio, on social media, like podcasting,
Yeah, that's
like
basically
YouTube.
radio.
That's just radio.
Yeah.
That's still radio. It's just in a different form. So when you say
Or at the very least, like that was
radio
my-
is what did you say?
on the down
On the down
downturn-
end,
downturn, yeah.
it's actually on the up and up if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because it has spawned so many different versions of
iterations. Yeah.
of what radio is.
Yeah,
like
but that was like at the time that was
Okay.
my impression
oh,
of
okay.
radio.
As
Somebody who spent a lot of his time on the internet.
okay, okay.
And
That-
as
that's
a
fair.
student,
That's fair. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, as a student who wasn't really very well versed in the world of media, that was like my impression of radio.
Okay.
Because it was just a form of media that I personally didn't engage with much. So that was my impression of radio. But when I got into radio broadcasting, and I started my coach / advisor at the time like recommended that I start actually listening to broadcasts, so I could like get a sense for how to better deliver my lines and all
Okay,
that.
okay.
So that's how I started dabbling more into radio and just broadcast media in general.
So but you haven't answered my question yet. Like unsa mo gyud ganahan nimo sa konbay sa media? Like what is it about it? Maybe I'm looking for like a
specific.
like a kind of purpose ba? Nganong media mo gyud like you know like did you enroll in communications, to be in media, because there are other facets
Yeah,
of communications
Yeah.
that not necessarily have to work in radio
Yeah.
or television for that matter, right? Communications is actually like a broad subject, a broad topic, a broad course, if you will.
yes.
So,
Certainly.
unsa man ba?
Well,
Anonimo.
probably one thing that really got me interested
Okay,
in
okay.
radio broadcasting in general, in specific, is that a lot of people at the time kept telling me that I had a really good voice for radio.
Oh,
and
okay,
that-
okay.
Yeah, and I didn't really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how old were you when people started saying that? And what made you say? What made them say you had a voice for radio?
Yeah, for radio.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think-
how old were you?
well, I think that might have been the reason in 8th grade why my friends recommended, my classmates rather, recommended that I try out radio broadcasting.
Because you had like a voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the very least, my voice had started to
Okay.
get a bit deeper.
Okay. So, kind of actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, because that's also why people in my family, my peers, my relatives, told me I should be in radio, because I also had like this loud voice, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily deep, but I was like always animated, always talking. But see, the thing is, that's the old way of
Yeah.
looking at radio, right? Because that was like the 80s and the 90s version of
Radio.
of what it meant to be a good radio personality.
where
But
they-
now, of course, it's actually, if you think about it, it has evolved into perhaps, I would even say, it's complete opposite, right? Instead of sounding like you're in radio, you have to sound as ordinary as possible. In
Yeah.
fact, there are certain examples of that. On the one hand, there's Rick Dees. I don't know if you're familiar with Rick Dees. Rick Dees is like a famous radio personality in the States, has a countdown. And on the other hand, there's Ryan Seacrest, right?
Yeah.
You're familiar with Ryan Seacrest. So if you notice, Ryan Seacrest's voice is very ordinary. He sounds like somebody you could talk to in a bar, right? So it has evolved into that. Like most of the personalities that you listen to now have very ordinary sounding voices.
Yeah.
It's what they say that kind of defines them now.
Yeah.
And it is the conversations that they have with other people that makes them who they are. Because I think if you listen to somebody who speaks in a language that people cannot relate to, let's just say English, for example, or if they listen to somebody whose voice is so intimidating
Yeah.
and is so authoritative, right?
Yeah.
Murag maglisod sila og kuyawan sila ba?
True.
Kuyawan kasabuan palang taan ni Jiggy. Kasabuan palang taan ni Ralph. Sound palang taan you know what I mean? So
Yeah, like it.
so I think what's happening now is what the concept of what a radio voice is has sort of evolved. But like all evolutions, it's all like a cycle, diba?
In a way, yeah.
In a way. So maybe one day we'll go back to that
Yeah.
that
the
set
very-
point, if you will, because that's also how I started in radio, believing that should be the voice that I should have. In fact, I was applying in a radio station. I think it was called DYBU back then, whose all of its DJs had like this deep voice,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean, like
Yeah, yeah.
DYBU. So that was my entry to radio, believing that that's what you should aspire to sound like. And then I realized later on that's changing. That's no longer true. In fact, back in the 90s, early 2000s, when I worked in the radio station previous to where I am now, which was Y101, their most popular DJ had a very ordinary sounding voice. It was Jack the Wack. He had like a conversational voice, and it was like, hey, whoa, 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 like what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, so I've actually, in a way, witnessed the change from that deep booming voice set point, like radio voice, to that conversational, almost soft spoken voice of Jack the Wack. So it kind of confused me a little bit. So I'm still confused now. In case you're wondering what is happening, mga kaigalaan, we have a special guest here from the University of the Philippines Communications Department. We have Ralph Chavez. We're having a conversation with him about, radio broadcasting and anything under the sun, actually. So if you want to join in our conversation, Yamaha Rider, maayong bungkag ni Budya, and to all of the visitors of Pit Senor of Sinulog. Yes, maayong buntag sa atong mga kaigsuunan nga bago lang yun ni abot gikan sa gawas sa nasod, gawas sa Cebu nga nibisita karon sa Cebu para makighimamat sa ato ang Sinulog, mga tao sa Sinulog, mga pamilya perhaps, mga family members, mga paryente, mga amigo. Daghang salamat sa inyong pag-ari diri sa siyudad sa Sugbo. We're getting ready for the Sinulog festivities this Sunday. And we have with us here live in the studios of 105 Ralph Chavez, who's actually from Butuan. Ikaw Ralph, like you've been in Cebu for how many years now?
I'm born and raised in Cebu.
Okay,
but
okay.
I spent my high school and senior high school there in Butuan.
Okay. So how many years non-consecutively have you lived in Cebu? Would you say more than half your life?
Yeah, I'd definitely say more than half my life because I only spent 6 years in Butuan.
Okay, so what is your understanding of the Sinulog? I want to rephrase the question, not understanding. What have you noticed about what a Sinulog celebration is in Cebu?
Well, I definitely say it's probably the biggest celebration in Cebu.
Okay.
For the calendar year.
Okay.
Every year it's just it feels like it gets bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah.
At least for me personally.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just noticing things more that I'm older.
Okay.
But for the most part, like my exposure to Sinulog mostly has been when I was a child growing up here in Cebu.
Okay.
And I spent most of those Sinulogs just at home, actually. Never really went out. So for me, it just felt like an extended holiday.
Okay. So how do you feel about it? Like, did you ever join a Sinulog?
No, actually, I have yet to join a Sinulog.
Because I think the Sinulog is like not I think, but I know for a fact that it is a cultural thing, right? A cultural phenomenon. Didn't you feel the need to learn, to understand what is going on in your surroundings?
Yeah.
Isn't that the normal thing to do? If you see something,
you want to get to know it.
You want to get to understand it more. Did you try to do that? No.
Definitely not.
Okay.
It's not that I didn't feel the need to understand it. But
not that you need to practice it or worship or whatever the figures are, but just simple understanding.
Simple understanding of it. Not really. As I told you earlier before we went on air, I am more of an introverted person at heart. So if you give me an excuse to stay at home, I will stay at home.
Okay.
So that's basically how
wala ka kuyaw ibay nga murag kaning media, for example, is really about going out there, right?
Yeah.
It's really about shaking hands. It's about meeting people. So isn't this like counterintuitive to who you are, an introvert?
Yeah. It's definitely not my comfort zone.
Okay.
But at the same time, I feel like if all you do in life is stay in your comfort zone, then you're not really gonna be able to reach your full potential as a person.
Okay.
So part of
But how do we reach how did we arrive at a comfort zone in the first place, right? How did you land on that comfort zone? Because I think a comfort zone is not something that's natural, right? I mean, like, oh, wait a minute. I think a comfort zone is arrived at, right? You arrive at the comfort zone. So there is a kind of
A process in a way.
process and a kind of deliberateness to say that this is my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because there are certain things that makaingon ka nga, we are born to do, right? Like there's a school of thought that we're born to run, for example, right?
Yeah.
Well, because we were running in the savannas, sorry, and then we were hunting for food. Right? We were born to run, and there's also an idea that we're all social beings, right? That we cannot survive nga dili ta makikimamat sa atong mga kaigsuonan sa atong tribo because we'll get lonely and we'll die and why was that true back then and it's still true now is kung ikaw rang usa niya masakit ka niya way mo tabang niya patay ka, di ba?
Yeah.
So we needed to be with other people to survive. So how did you arrive at that conclusion nga you're an introvert in the first place?
Probably when I talk about comfort, it's convenience, like a feeling of convenience. This is something that's really easy.
Yeah,
for
easy.
me.
The word is easy, right? Murag tapulan gud na, di ba?
Oh, yeah.
But it is a kind of laziness, right?
Yeah, to an extent.
To a certain extent. If you consider yourself introvert, it's not really that you don't want to go out. It's too much effort, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's taxing.
Yeah.
And I guess I can't really speak for all people, but
or all introverts.
or all introverts for that matter. But
Okay.
like, yeah, socializing is taxing, and and if given the choice, I'd rather not tax myself like that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. And you're actually absolutely correct. Like, it takes effort to talk to people, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, every show that I have, no matter how much I've been doing this whole broadcasting thing, at the end of the show, it's still like draining. Like,
yeah.
it's like because you're sharing a part of you to you, right? Karong butaga o gasuri anay ta, di ba? I am sharing myself to you, right? So, kana siya, sharing a part of you means nga naay nakuha nimo. Nga gihatag nako nimo in the same way we're like exchanging energies in a way, right? So kapoy gid siya. So you're right, like but somehow I have developed a desire murag na in time naganahan ako makig istorya og laing tao because you learn so much from just talking to people, like from talking to you now.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much from you, right? So murag like, wow, like this is what it means to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Like I'm not only giving myself to the other person, a part of me to the other person, I'm also receiving. I'm also understanding the world that I am living in more and more by the simple act of conversing with this person. So murag kanang dapita diha, murag that is one of the reasons why I actually want to get out of the house, because I want to have deeper and more meaningful conversations like what I'm having right now. So in a way, that's why I have become less of an introvert. But just like you, I'm also, and I think most of us are kind of lazy, right?
Yeah.
We'd rather not get out of bed, right? If we could help it. You know what I mean?
If we had the choice.
If it wasn't unhealthy, if I wasn't going to die faster, if I just stayed at home, if I would become a better person, if I'd stay at home, if what for whatever reason I become a smarter person, if I'm just at home, then I'd just do that too. But I realized that no, a lot of things require effort. A lot of great things require effort. So mo na siya nga dili kay ko na I always remind myself that I have to get out of bed. Ikaw, like when you mentioned nga you're introverted, you said nga it's just because you wanted the easy way, right?
Yeah,
Like,
convenience.
it's more convenient to just stay at home, and it probably doesn't it's also cheaper probably to stay at home too, right?
Yeah,
right.
there's that
right.
too, there's that
I mean,
too.
if you get out of the house, you have to first of all brush your teeth.
Yeah.
Toothpaste costs money, right?
Yeah.
Toothbrush costs money, like a shampoo costs money.
Yeah.
If you're gonna clean your hair.
Soap costs money.
Soap costs money, like a cup of coffee costs money. So everything that you do to get out of the house costs
money.
and then you have to, ride a motorcycle, a car, needs gasoline, and to get up here to the studios, you need to take a bus.
Yeah.
It costs money, right?
Yeah.
So it's so much effort to get dressed costs money, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so ikaw, so I guess my question is now, what made you decide to get out of your comfort zone?
Well, definitely, I think that staying in your comfort zone will, it's not a good way to help you reach your full potential as a person.
Okay.
So I think that in order for us to grow as people, sometimes we need to step out of our comfort zone. Of course, you can try your best to pace yourself at it, not try to push yourselves too quickly into doing things, and different methods work for different people. But I've found so far that being thrust into situations all of a sudden, like when my classmate dragged me all of a sudden to the radio broadcasting group of our school at the time, that sometimes being thrust into a situation helps me get out of my comfort zone quicker, and I've been able to grow from that experience for the most part. Like after getting into the radio broadcasting group of our
UP?
school,
Of UP? Okay.
no, of our school and high school at the time.
Okay. In
In
Agusan?
Yeah, Agusan National High
okay.
School. So after that, all of a sudden, my sir also our head, our advisor, he recommended to me, why not try hosting some events in school as well?
Okay.
Because that might be able to help you with your delivery.
Mm-hmm.
And after he told me that recommendation, he immediately told me, so I've actually told the English department to take you up as the host for the upcoming school event, for an upcoming school event. And because of that, I got thrust into another situation where I had to basically adapt, because I'm not somebody who had a lot of experience hosting. I would say that was the first major event that I hosted, although it was a school event. It was still a really large school event at the time. And because of that, I was basically I was kicked out of my comfort zone in that moment. But because of that, because of that moment, I found out that actually hosting events can be really fun actually, and
More fun than lying in bed?
definitely more fun than lying in bed, and being able to complete the program felt very fulfilling for me. So I think that being able to exert effort into doing something, and that project or output going well, it's a very fulfilling experience.
But don't you have that experience in other facets of your life? Nga kaning kung naay effort, then it becomes fulfilling, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you experience that in other facets of your life? For example, kaning let's just say gipakarga ka ni mama og usa ka sako nga bugas, for example, right? Yeah.
Something like that.
Theoretical. I don't know if it's ever happened to you. It happens to me. It happened to me before. So gipakarga ko sa kasakong bugas sa imong mama. Ikabot nimo sa imuhang balay. Don't you have that sense of fulfillment? Nga nakarga na ko ang usa ka sako nga bugas, right? So I was able to fulfill my mom's desires to ask when she asked me to bring this thing, and I was also I feel satisfied. I was strong enough to do it, right? So don't you feel that in other facets of your life nga makaingon ka nga kung na effort nya mahuman ako nindot man.
Yeah.
Nganong why did it take for that incident nga nag-host ka na nahuman nimo nga makaingon ka nga nindot man si day kung na effort niya mahuman o niya, ma-satisfied man sa ko.
Uh,
Why did it take that, in other words?
Well, for probably the I would say that the difference for this one, or it's not just necessarily for hosting, but like in broadcasting in general.
Okay, versus that example
Oh,
of carrying anything in life that requires effort.
Effort, basically, yeah.
There's a sense of fulfillment after that all the time, diba? Most of the time, at least, diba?
Yeah, for this one in particular, it's particularly because it was out of my comfort zone. It was something that's out of my comfort zone. If I'm told to do chores, I feel like that's more the sense of relief that I get from finishing those chores. It's more like a sense of duty. Now, this is something I have to do because
Okay.
napako sa balay sa akong mama. I have to help, and when they ask for help, I will help. So it's more like
You're obliged to do it. Okay.
yeah, obliged through a sense of duty.
Yeah.
So this was something that I wasn't necessarily obliged to do.
Okay.
It was a task that was thrust upon me.
Okay.
I could have said no,
Okay.
but
Why didn't you say no?
I was scared to say no at that time.
Okay. So you're still obliged because there was higher authority?
No, it was not necessarily kay higher authority, but rather because my as I said, my advisor for the radio broadcasting group recommended that I try it out.
Okay.
So it was like, okay, it was a recommendation. I could turn it down, but at the same time, he says that this might help me improve. So I took it as an opportunity to improve.
Improve on?
On my delivery as like in speaking and all that. Because one of my earliest struggles in radio broadcasting was my delivery. It sounded like I was reading off of a piece of paper, basically.
Okay. So so it did improve on your delivery, that incident, because sometimes improvement, especially in speaking, it's in small increments, right?
Yes.
It doesn't happen overnight. You don't become a superstar speech person if you don't practice and you don't expose yourself to many situations like the one you just experienced. So
Yeah.
how was it? Was it by leaps and bounds? Was that like a catalyst for you, or murag ginagmay lang imong improvement after that?
Definitely ginagmay ra ang
Okay.
improvements.
Okay.
Because it's like you said, it's not like you do one thing and then you immediately become a superstar.
Okay.
But it got me started. At the very least, it got me used to the jitters you get before
Yeah.
you do public speaking or
Yeah,
something along
yeah,
the lines
yeah.
of that. So it got me used to that feeling at the very least. Like it was at that specific event that I hosted that I realized that once I get my a few words out of my mouth, the jitters, they just disappear. So, and it's because of that, and I would say,
Well, the jitters are there for a reason, right? The jitters are there because you care to do well, right? I mean, like, mahadlok siguro ka kung di ka mahadlok, because that means you don't care, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, in a way.
So I think the jitters are good. It becomes bad if you're paralyzed with fear, diba?
yeah.
And you can't think anymore because you're so scared. But
Yeah.
I think there's a healthy amount of jitters that's useful to what you do, which is speak in public. Kung nahibog mo mga kagalanon sa among gibuhat karong buntaga, you're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. And right across me is Ralph Chavez, a UP communications student. So he's got lang me og public speaking and maybe even broadcasting and all of that stuff. You know what? Kani siya taga UP man ni siya. So I think one of the questions that I'd like to ask siguro is naani mo ra og stereotype ang mga tao sa mga estudyante sa UP
Oh no.
nga medyo rebelde ko no. Rebelde ko no. In fact, I'm also from UP, so people are blaming UP for my being a kind of subversive thinker ba.
Yeah.
Unsa man abay like di naman na nangagikan nga ingon sila nga taga UP kuno rebelde kuno niya. Unsa man na like what I mean by rebelde is like we're always against something ba.
Something,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like we're like that's a term for that. We're muratag kaning sa termino na bay nga sige lag bahala nag unsa imong mga istorya imo sukway gid siya.
Yeah.
Sa termino na there's a word for that, right?
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah. Anyway, ana gyud ta ba, di ba? Unsa man ang tan-aw nimo na din man nagikan. Tinuod na dili.
Mingon ko nga dili na tinuod.
Okay. Ngano nakaingon man kandi na tinuod?
Kay one of the key things that our professors try to teach us in UP is how to be a critical thinker. And what happens is a lot when something comes out, let's say like public policy or public project, something along the lines of that,
Or maybe a law, for example.
or a law comes out. What happens is a lot of students from UP, not just from UP, but students in general, especially the ones who learn how to critically think, they see what's proposed and they immediately try to weigh the costs and the pros and cons basically of a lot of these proposals, and it's because of I'd say an innate desire for our country to get better, that we will do our best to look at what is they're proposing actually beneficial for the Filipino people.
Okay.
So I think the term that we were trying to look for earlier is contrarian. Yeah, that's the term.
Anyway, go ahead.
It just popped into my head. Jud.
Okay, I know, right?
Pero,
Anyway,
so
please continue.
ang reason jud nga makaingon jud ang tao nga contrarian ta is because a lot of students from universities, not just from UP necessarily,
Okay.
but just particularly UP, because UP is probably the most vocal when it comes to its criticisms. But I think it really stems from a good place, because what we're really looking for is genuine change for the better, and we
Genuine change.
yeah, genuine change for the better.
What,
And we
what
can't-
does that even mean? What does genuine change even mean?
Well, probably
Because change is a word that everybody uses all the time, especially during the campaign period, right?
yeah,
And you don't really actually see the change, right?
or feel the change for
Yeah,
that matter.
yeah. You don't feel it. So what do you mean when you say genuine change? What is it that you think that a UP student or the UP system is teaching their students to aspire for? What does that mean? What does genuine change? What is that end of the rainbow that you're talking about? What does that mean? Right?
Oh.
It sounds kind of nebulous. Murabag. Unsa pasabot na na?
Lagi.
Unsa pasabot na na? What does that mean?
Well, maybe it might differ from one person to another.
No, but it's a school, right?
Yeah.
It's an organization. It's a set of ideals that a school has. That's what universities are, right? It's
Yeah.
like these ideals are organized and being inculcated in the hearts and minds of the students, right? So when you say maglahi-lahi, maybe maglahi-lahi siguro ang ilahang reception to it when they receive it, right?
Maybe.
They become they process it differently. But my question is, unsa man day ganahan sa sistema nga itudlo ninyo nga unsa man day nang ilang gipangita nga real change. Not from your perspective, but from looking at
From UP's perspective.
looking at the system. What is that? What is that thing that they want when you say substantive or real change? What do they mean?
Well, I feel like I'd be speaking on behalf of UP for that. And
No, but you don't have to speak in behalf of UP because you're just one person, right?
Yeah,
But what I'm asking is for you to say,
genuine change.
based on your interpretation, on your personal limited interpretation of what they want. Unsa man gyud ay ganahan? What I just want to be able to dissect. Unsa man gyud ang real change? What does that mean as far as the way they mold your minds, our minds, into believing? Like unsa man na siya? What does that mean? Because I've been out of UP for such a long time, and I still don't know what it means. I don't know what does real change mean.
Well,
Is it because we're all contrarians and we always think that the status quo is
bad.
is not a good thing? So
Yeah.
we want real change, and real change actually is like a movable object that
Yeah.
can just
Yeah,
can just
moving
move.
the goalpost
We
or something like
move
that.
the goalpost like every time we don't achieve something, or we just want the opposite of whatever is the status quo. Unsa man gina?
Well, I think I would say, Judd, that the end goal is equality for all.
Equality for all.
In the sense that we are all treated as with dignity as individuals, as with respect to who we are as individuals.
Okay. Equality. Okay. So we are all treated with dignity. So koto brother.
With respect to who we are as individuals.
So koto brother just a treatment. How about the economic
Yeah,
economic side?
There's definitely also the demand for
So
better.
kanang equality, it looks like that is a kind of an extreme. If you have to look at the spectrum of ideologies, murag medyo leaning to the left din na siya, di ba? Mura siya medyo socialism, di ba? In fact, there are several times nga makaingon ka nga there were times nga you're in its long and colorful history nga mga ideologies like that ba, nga equality for all, like maybe even I hate to say it, but kanang communism, di ba? Murag diham na padong, di ba? Ang left and then and the right is something else, right? Kind of the opposite of that, but still has the same negative connotation. So kanang butanga diha, isn't that kind of extreme? Kanang equality for all?
No, it's definitely not extreme because
How does that happen?
The bias isn't towards.
How do you make a society that's equal? Like, are you looking for an ideal that you can never accomplish?
Yeah, there's the whole the idea of
Yeah.
utopia.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I don't think it's necessarily a utopia that we're striving for, but rather when I talk about when I mention equality for all, it's definitely in terms of equal treatment under the law, and equal access to better economic opportunities.
Okay.
So those are like I would say that the main crux of what equality for all would mean for me.
Okay.
So it's all about access to equal access to economic opportunities, equal access to education, equal treatment under the law, and so on and so forth.
Equality. And we were talking about how we are so westernized, right?
Yeah.
Like we look up to our colonizers. That's our tendency because we were colonized for such a long time. And then one of the ideals that I think the Philippines is trying to adhere to and is in fact practicing is the democratic process, right? Democracy, right? With all of its flaws, democracy we think is still the best game in town.
Yeah.
Right? Democracy is messy, but I don't know if it was Winston Churchill who once said nga democracy is the worst kind of government except for everything else, right? So that's what he said, something to that effect,
Yeah.
right? So di ba kanang democracy and capitalism, they kind of go hand in hand, di ba? Nga mura siya og let the free
Free market.
market of ideas roam the land, and then the best idea wins, kind of thing, right? Free market
yeah.
of ideas, and it's the same as your business ideas, right?
Yeah.
You know, everybody does whatever he or she thinks is the best way to make a living, and then the best idea wins, right?
Yeah.
So isn't that an ideal way of crafting better societies, or do you have other ways of looking at that and maybe perhaps adjusting it to get to that point when you said what the UP system wants is that equality? Do you think that's a good enough system, or do you think you want to throw the whole democratic process altogether and replace it with something else?
I'm definitely in favor of the democratic system.
Okay.
Maybe it's because of it's the system I grew up with.
Mm-hmm. Mo inaanda nimo.
Yeah, mo inandan ako.
Oh, so but that doesn't
Dira
mean
ako
that it's
biased.
correct, right?
That definitely doesn't mean that it's correct. But I would say that based off of what I know about other systems of governance, when it comes to the autocratic slash authoritarian types of governments systems, I definitely think democracy, where people are allowed to pursue life, liberty, and happiness however they deem fit, is the best form of governance. Primarily because I believe that as human beings, we have the right to choose how to live our lives.
Okay.
And democracy
as human beings, you have the right to
choose how to live our lives.
You're speaking in behalf of all of humanity, huh? Wait,
I don't-
mahadlok mga ikaw mo sulti in behalf of UP na. You're now speaking in behalf of humanity, because I remember a scene in I know it's crazy, but I remember a scene in the Avengers when Loki said something to the effect nga, you are all made to be ruled. He said something to that effect,
Yeah.
right? I don't know if you remember that scene, right?
I remember, yeah.
We are all made to be ruled. So that was like a controversial part of the movie, because that means we like autocracies.
Yeah.
Like what our tendencies are. So namang yung ubang tao siguro ba yung ganahan sa nga magpa-rule, right? And I think, I'm not sure what the numbers are, but I'm sure like some people don't believe in democracy, right?
I definitely, yeah.
In fact, they're saying autocracy and all of its accoutrements are making a comeback, right? Right?
Yeah,
in a
something
way.
like that,
In fact, all of the world leaders that are elected now are kind of have autocratic tendencies. Like, for example, Donald Trump, right, was elected just fairly recently, and the other parts of the world, like Mexico and Argentina. So mga it's making a kind of a comeback. So
the quote unquote strongman leaders.
yeah. So do you feel nga it's a kind of the opposite of what you're saying? Murag, the democracy and all of its ideals are losing grip of the world.
Well, I would say that certainly there are. I don't know how many, Jude, but some people who aren't fans of democracy,
Yeah.
or the benefits that it gives them.
Mm-hmm.
But it is precisely because that many of them live in democratic nations that they're allowed to
Have those thoughts.
to express those thoughts
Okay.
and to act on those thoughts.
Okay.
And-
dili pa to sa democratic.
Yeah, they would never would have had that choice. The choice would have been made for them.
Okay.
So that's why am in favor of and would be more biased towards a having a democratic system, because it's precisely in this system where they're allowed, even if their opinion is to I don't want democracy. It's precisely in a democratic nation where
they're able to say
allowed
that.
to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But had they been in a as an authoritarian dictatorship, for example, then
Yeah, they never would have had
they-
a choice.
They will still be able to say that, but they go to jail or probably
Yeah.
die, right?
Yep.
So
Pretty much.
Yeah. But like I feel manggod nga kanang equality for all sounds so like impossible, right? Diba? Like I mean, like I
Or hard to achieve at the very least.
I know what you're talking about, and I like that too. But mura siya og lisod jud kayo ba? Unless it's a kind of a authoritarian dictatorship or kind of form of government nga is really designed to make sure that every resource is allocated equally, diba? Murag in a democratic process, murag lisod na siya i-achieve because like commercial forces will always triumph because what a commercial endeavor wants is to get more commerce, more
Yeah.
resources, more money, right? So dili gyud na siya ma-achieve kay there are certain machines that will suck out all of the equality
Yeah.
from society, because ang ilang tuyo good is to take advantage of the freedom
Yeah.
that they have, and some of them will succeed and some of them won't and will crumble and will fail, right?
Yeah.
So kanang diyang dapita diya kanang lang akong gisulti nana inequality, di ba?
Yeah.
Kinamay masipyat bankrupt.
True.
Manira ilang negosyo, for example, niya na usad rin nga ni succeed. So dili na siya equal kato siya na purdo ito siya. Wala siya nang utang na siya, nang pakilimos na siya, whatever happens to him. So kato lang daan nga one example lang na unequal na kayo. Right?
Probably, if you're looking just at the result, makaingon jud ka nga, medyo unequal ang system. Pero the equality lies not in the result, but rather in the access to the opportunities. That's where we should strive for equality.
Yeah. So kato siya
Because they all had the opportunity
yeah,
to
they
start a
had
business.
they had equal in a way, they had equal access, right? Let's just say all of them had equal access to funding, for example, right? One of them failed, one of them succeeded, right? So walay net, walay parachute for that person who failed, right? So you're just gonna let him be and fail, and
Well, when it comes to
why guardrail ba? Wala siya kaning mura og protection ba nga
for
failure ba?
For failure.
Oh, so kansi siya. Wala siya. He is going to be always trying to catch up because there was no guardrail. Society did not provide him with a guardrail because they can't afford a guardrail because everybody it's a free market of ideas, man.
Yeah.
Free market of business. So kung palpak sa ka, wala sa kay mahimo nimo. Anyway, mga kailan, in case you're wondering what is happening here, basig na ibong unsanwing suryaan nila, nabuang naman sila. This is the Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. Right across me is
Rafael Chavez.
Rafael Chavez of the University of the Philippines Communications. We're just talking. We're not about to change the world dramatically here, but we hope we do. What was that? To have equality for all, according to Rafael here, who wants nothing but that. Ikaw, Rafael, like why do you get out of bed? What is the thing that you want to happen that you can be a part of that makes you get out of bed?
Well, probably first and foremost, my main driver to get out of bed right now is to help improve the lives of my family.
Okay, okay.
So we're not exactly rich.
Okay.
We're not exactly completely poor.
Okay.
We're
Painfully middle class.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, in a way,
Yeah.
yeah. Or actually, I don't know if we even count as middle class.
Okay.
I think we're somewhere in between broke and middle class.
Okay, okay.
Just somewhere in between there.
Yeah. Okay.
But I've seen how my parents have struggled to provide for me and my siblings.
Okay.
And I want to be able to repay them first and foremost.
Mhm.
And well, I'm hoping to do that soon.
Mhm. You know what? I'm sure your situation, our situation, in life is what everybody not everybody, most people are enduring right now because we're kuan bita third world country bita, di ba?
Yeah.
So most of us compared to our neighbors don't have a lot, right? And
Yeah.
we're really always struggling to get by every single day, trying to make our lives better every single day, right? And it's hard, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, including my kids, they'd rather get the hell out of here because they feel like this country has failed them. My two brothers, my younger brothers, have also left the country a long time ago because they feel like there's not enough for me in this country. I can't live the life that I want to live. I can't be in this situation where I only make this much with this much effort, right? Do you feel that? Do you feel that your country has failed you, and your brothers and sisters, and your mom and dad, that they've struggled so much? Is there a part of you that feels that way, where you're just not uttering it?
I definitely say that deep down, I do feel that way. It feels like my country has failed me, failed my family. Even my brother right now, who is a nurse.
Okay.
The immediate plan after graduation was do your best to get abroad.
Okay.
That's pretty much like the de facto kind of mindset when it comes to
Most middle class families.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they see their lives have improved dramatically because they chose that career, that path,
Yeah.
right?
There's just better economic incentives
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it comes to going abroad.
Mhm.
Although maybe the journey there may be difficult to
Yeah.
get started,
Yeah.
but the what you get out of it is just so much. It's just really worth it because we have.
It's worth the struggle.
Yeah, it's worth the struggle for sure. We have relatives who have done it, and their lives are so much better now. So
Okay.
it's all about.
Naminaw na to si
trying
Mel,
to
si
find
Mel
the fun.
Libre. Okay na si Mel Libre ba? Taga Cebu sa ni si Mel Libre. He's actually a writer, a poet. He used to contribute to Sunstar on and I think he's now working in New Zealand. And I'm sure he can relate to what we're talking about here because he has decided to leave the country to work in New Zealand. So please continue.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm just pointing it out, and he's listening to us right now in New Zealand. Go ahead, sir.
Hi, Mel.
Uh.
Yeah. So, where was I?
You were talking about how your brother is a nurse, and
Yeah.
how,
we have relatives who.
how the default
mindset
of most people in the Philippines is, especially
abroad.
if you're middle class, is to just get the hell out of here and find a job somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because it's not enough. And we were talking about how you feel like the country has failed you and your family.
Yeah. Besides that as well, besides that kind of de facto mindset, there's also, my father worked in a government job for 20 years.
Wow.
20 years plus.
Okay.
And it was only at the point of his retirement that he found out that he didn't actually get regular worker status, basically. So his pension was just it's just meager compared to what, let's say, a regular employee would have gotten. So it's that personal experience as well, where it feels like my father got cheated out of a proper retirement,
Okay.
and the fact that just the general mindset of most people, I wouldn't say it's just middle class people. I think it's also the same for people in the lower class as well. That
Or even the upper class. I mean, like
yeah, even the upper class,
a lot of them feel like
going abroad is the best
yeah,
choice. Yeah, it's
so they can maintain their lifestyle, right?
and
Daghang kay ko mga kailasan pa nga mga mayo pagkabutang diri sa Pilipinas pero they'd rather get the hell out of here because
yeah.
you know their resources, although a lot, is not infinite, right? So eventually kung sige lang sila gasto diri, then mahurot ang gyapon ilang kwarta, di ba?
Lagi.
So yeah.
Yeah, even the people struggling to survive think that maybe finding work abroad is the best choice, dude. So if the lower class, the middle class, and even the upper class feel like their best choice is to go abroad, then how can you not get that feeling?
Yeah, but ikaw kanang UP, kuan ko na good, like it's a government funded school system, right? And kita kuan ta mga scholar ng bayan man ta, di ba?
Oo.
In a way, right? Like don't they have a kind of or don't we have a responsibility because we are in that educational system to make a better country for us and for our families and for future generations? Don't you feel a kind of responsibility as well? Nga murag ako, like that's what I feel. I feel like I did not build a good enough country for my brothers because they had to leave because I'm the eldest, right? So I feel kind of responsible for that. You know what I mean? Nga,
Yeah.
dili ko I'm not blameless. I'm part of Philippine society and I did not do enough to ensure that my brothers will stay here. Don't you feel the same?
Yeah, I'd certainly say I feel the same.
Okay.
It's probably another aspect of being a UP student,
Okay.
an Eskolar ng Bayan, that you kind of feel that responsibility to help better the lives of your fellow countrymen, to help better the country that you live in and that you call home. So I definitely say, yeah, I feel that responsibility. And I think a lot of people feel that responsibility, but it's just that they don't see hope at the end of the tunnel, kind of, so to speak. And they'd much rather prioritize bettering their lives first. And I can see why they would do that.
But I guess the better question is because we're swapping like sad stories right now. Man. It's so depressing to listen to sa mukha anyway.
Okay.
So ang akong mga tanong siguro ni is this: like since we're such a we've been colonized by the Americans, the Spaniards, and the Japanese, and these are very successful societies in many ways, especially the Japanese and the Americans. So my question would probably be: so may naa nilang wa na to? Nganong ato ang mga pariente ato ang mga igsuon mularga man.
Lagi.
Ano man nga unsa may naa ng Amerika ba nga why can't we do it here nga ang atong constitution gali gi-pattern na tugi kanila,
Lagi.
right? Nagsunod-sunod na galit nila, makikita mo in English, di ba?
Lagi.
Pag human anong dili man ta pareha nila nga dagkog sweldo sad unsa may naa ka nato bay? Unsa may naa nila nga wa nato nga why do we need to get the hell out of here to get that ideal, not necessarily even ideal, just to have a slightly better life than what we have here in the Philippines. So may naa nila.
Oh man, if I knew if I knew the answer to that question, maybe life wouldn't be so hard here in the Philippines. If it was such an
But
easy,
if you have to if you have to theorize lang ba, because we're just having conversation, right? Kasi na story ram tani, wala man tayo ingon nga atong himuon ang Pilipinas ug Amerika right then and there, right? In fact,
Lagi.
there was even a story nga Diba? Years ago, like after World War II, nga, we annex ning Pilipinas to become like another part of another state of the United States. There was a movement for that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Anyway, so unsa man ba? What do you think? Unsa may naa sa ubang nasod ba nga what nato nga pwede na to nga probably dili pa too late. We will become a powerhouse as well. Sa tanaw nimo, unsay kuwang nato? Just pick one. I know there's a lot. I mean there's
definitely a
lot.
lot.
But unsa ka one of the biggest things that we lack, why we can't be let's just say a United States, for example, which is the number one economy in the world. Does that
Probably
have something to do with the size of the country?
No,
The
definitely
population?
not the size of the country. Because we know countries that are smaller than us that
Yeah.
are actually more successful, or economically speaking. Pero probably, if I was to guess one thing, it probably might be a unifying culture, something like that. Maybe it's because kan archipelago biyata. And yeah, medyo fragmented jud ang mga islands. We're really far apart from each other. Maybe that's another reason pod nga we weren't able to bounce back from being colonized for so long. Because there are actually countries that have been colonized for far longer than we have. Spain, in fact, was colonized for almost 7 centuries, I believe.
By the Portuguese? Or by who?
I forgot which.
The Dutch?
The Turks. I
The Turks,
believe.
okay.
Yeah, it
Okay.
was
You forgot
ancient
your
Middle
world
East.
history, huh?
Yeah. But it was a
Kasamaan
middle-
juga sa mga teacher na ba?
lagi. Sige lang, mana na yung klase ron.
Mag-graduate naman ka, di ba?
Graduate naman ko, so dito ako makasabaan or idadyo na ako sila.
Okay. So what about the Spaniards who were colonized for 7 centuries?
Yeah, probably it would be a unifying culture because even
Mo na kuwang na to.
I'd say
Okay.
it's probably one of
Yeah,
many reasons or many factors.
Pero if you think about it, di ba, the United States is a country of immigrants, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, there is no real American native except for the American Indians, right?
Yeah, the American
In a
Indians,
way, they were kind of one of the first people in that country,
Yeah.
right? So wala man say kuan sa sila ilahang kultura dito murag daghan man sa gayo, murag fragmented man sa gayo sila. In fact,
In a way. Pero-
karon gali grabe sa kay kabuwag-buwag, fragmented ang Amerika, di ba? Like
Yeah.
grabe kay sila ka
Divided.
divided karon,
Yeah.
di ba? With their politics and their
Yeah.
culture and and all of that stuff, right? So in a way, gubot sad kayo ang Amerika,
Yeah.
right?
But I'd say that there was still something, especially in the past, siguro in the case of the U.S., that a kind of unifying culture for them. Maybe it was the American dream.
Yeah.
You know, that whole concept.
Yeah.
nga-
In fact, we are dreaming because
American dream.
because of their media, right?
Yeah, we are dreaming the American
We're
dream.
dreaming the American dream, right?
Yeah.
Which is so screwed up, right?
In a way, yeah. You know, we're dreaming somebody else's dream, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, that unifying concept.
But dili
the
man
American
dili
dream.
man masulbad ba kay we will never be like one country, right? We're always going to be 7,107 islands, right?
Yeah.
So unsa man na to pag-solve dili, so we're like an impossible case then. So we'll build bridges to all of our islands, all 7,107 of them.
We don't need to physically connect to
Yeah,
to
but
each other.
yeah,
Pero-
if you want connection, then there's the internet now. So we're
yeah.
all connected by the internet now. So,
yeah, maybe this might be the tool to help us connect.
Okay,
Pero
okay.
It's more of a culture, and a culture isn't necessarily a physical thing. It's well, it's a concept in a way, but I don't see it necessarily as we need to physically be close to one another, but something maybe similar to the American dream as a concept, something that every Filipino person can aspire to. You know, if we could like give it a name. Why not the Filipino dream? If there's the American dream, why not the Filipino dream?
But mo lagi
Something
ang,
like that.
ang atong problema is we're so divided because of our physical divisions. You know,
Or
oceans apart, right? We're
even
always
but even in the U.S., this even though they're connected by land, they're still miles apart from each other.
Yeah, but,
like why is it somebody from the West Coast and the
Mm.
East Coast can all have like a unified thought when it comes to
Well, not anymore, but they used
well,
to
not
have.
anymore. Used to. They used to. Yeah.
Yeah,
What I'm talking about is like in the past.
Yeah. So mo na siya. So mo lagi like even if they're in one piece of land, they still disagree and have different thoughts and ideas and ways of navigating through this thing called life. Maglalayang gusto lang mga ideologies and
Yeah.
and beliefs, etc.,
Lahi-lahi
etc., right?
lifestyles po.
Yeah, karon hinoon nga sa Pilipinas buwag-buwag kita physically by oceans, samot ang tagka pareha lagi punta nila. In other words, so what I'm trying to say ba is murag it's an impossibility for us to have one unified cause because we're all so different, right? And ang ato ang problema mo dili mo like you said, culture is not a thing, right?
Yeah,
it's a concept, right? So dili kita makasinabot kay dili gay nabutang unya paghuman gibuwag pag kita og mga dagat. So unsaon man ito pag-abot ng dapita diha? Isn't it also part of the beauty of the Philippines that we're so diverse and we're so different from each other? That every island is different, every town is different, and all of that. Isn't that also our biggest treasure that we're so diverse as a nation, right?
Definitely.
And-
I
and-
definitely say that's one of our
Biggest
one of-
beauties, right? But
Yeah.
ang utana na is because we're looking at better societies, right? Building a better society. Pasabutan na nga, again, back to what you said, we've come full circle in equality, right? So how do we begin towards that direction if we're so katag, we're so like dispersed and we have all different, di ba? Ang Mindanao gali ganahan mo nga buwag sila sa Pilipinas, di ba?
Like-
And all of that stuff. So murag lisod kay ba? Like
Yeah, bitaw.
if you're a leader of this country, like if you're a president of this country, lisod ra sa trabaho mo ba sa?
Lagi.
Kamuka like 7,107 islands. What the hell are you gonna do? Like like lisod ra eh. Like I guess what I'm trying to get from you, and hopefully maybe from both of us, is what's the first step, man? Like how do we fix this whole geographic problem of being an archipelagic nation? I guess
Well-
my stupid answer was bridges, diba?
Yeah.
But it's impossible to have built that many
Physical,
bridges,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Probably what we're doing now would be the first step.
Okay.
To talk about it.
Okay.
Like, what is it that we can all find something in common
Okay.
with one another? Oh, lahi-lahi lagi tag cultures. We all speak our own dialects as well. There's Butuanon, Sirigahonon, Cebuano, Tagalog.
Okay.
But what can we find in our commonalities? I think it starts with having a conversation, Jude, about that. What can we find in common about each other?
You know, I'm going to be very simplistic and trite here, right? Don't we have a common humanity? Don't we all have the same dreams to have a better life, to not be alone, to be loved and be loved, to feel less pain and more more joy, less suffering and you know more pleasure? Isn't that what every, not just Filipino wants, but isn't it what every
human.
all of humanity want? Like, diba? Like,
Yeah, that's.
I know
agree
that's
with
trite. I know that's that's I'm overly simplistic. But why can't we agree on that? Like, that's fairly simple concept, right?
Yeah, I think that's a very simple concept.
Yeah.
Why can't we agree on that?
Yeah, I mean we can agree to disagree on how to get there, right? There's
yeah.
always political persuasions,
Yeah.
religious ideology, dogmas, and beliefs, and culture and traditions and all of that stuff, right? Ang ato ang dili magkasinabot dili ta magkasinabot ug unsaon nato pag-abot ang lugar diha.
Yeah.
Pero kay bawta asa ta padong.
Yeah.
ang ato lang proseso pagpadong diha mong dili ta
Mong
magkasinabot, di ba?
Mo ang
Di ba?
main nga.
Di ba?
Dira jud ang issue, and I think that's causing the main divide.
Oo.
Pero I think we all pretty, like you said, I think we all can pretty much agree on that at the very least. So
Nganong dili man ta magkasinabot kung kibaw ta nga tao ta tanang gawas siguro atong kontra siguro kana mga iro o mga iring or
Lagi.
mga donkey or mga uwak, di ba? Iring lain-lain man tag
Lagi.
pangutok yun, pero kita tao man ta tanan kibaw man ta nga kung way kwarta gutom munta, di ba?
Oh.
Kung way security mga matay ta.
Yeah.
You know, like we all know what we want
Yeah.
because we're all human beings.
Yeah.
Why can't we all collectively just agree, all 7,107 islands, that we're going to go to that place with more resources, more money in our pockets, more safe, more secure, you know, and
Better life.
access to healthcare, access to education. Kibaw mo tatanan nga mo man atong ganahan tanan. I mean, I don't know of anybody who doesn't like access to healthcare, right?
Yeah.
So what's the problem? What's the holdup?
Who knows?
do you think that politics has a lot to do with it? Do you think that the way our political process is the problem, and the process is the problem? Do you think so, or is it at least part of the problem? What do you think?
I definitely think it might be an aspect that it can get problematic. I wouldn't say it's inherently problematic, but it can certainly get problematic.
Okay.
But it's just such a hard thing to think about. Like, yeah. Oh,
We're just thinking about it, man.
yeah.
That's the beauty of it. Like,
Yeah.
we're just thinking about it, and
Thinking about it and talking about it.
and I think you're right. I mean, the power of conversation is kita mga lideri nga, you know, like I don't consider myself a smart person. I think I have so much to learn, and you know, you're also still a student, and you're about to graduate. But I'm sure also you feel we're so inadequate, we're so ill-equipped
Yeah.
to tackle this problem. But we're having this conversation because we're ambitious.
Yes.
And we want to talk about the big problems, not because we can solve it, but because somehow mura atong is scratch ang surface ba. Maybe somehow somewhere we will accidentally stumble upon a
good
kind,
idea.
a kind of a good idea ba. Atong mga stupid ideas like building bridges.
Yeah.
Right? And appeal to our humanity nga, you
Yeah.
know, like ani man ta, like, you know, like pareha ra man tang gutomon good.
Lagi.
Di ba? Unya atong kultura, di ba, nga we're very we're a Christian nation, right?
Yeah.
And in if you look at, I don't know if you agree with me, maybe you should access your world history lessons here, but kadaghanan sa mga colonize sa Spain, murag they're very like they're third world, right? I don't know if that's correct. Like kadaghanan sa mga colonize sa Spain ng mga nasod, a lot of them are not very successful nations, right?
I was just thinking off the top of my head. I think so.
yeah, like
Most of the Hispanic
Yeah.
types of countries.
mga South America, di ba?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
Maybe it's the fault of the Spaniards.
Yeah. We're always the blame game, right?
Yeah.
You know, like
I mean, look at the French colonies; they're doing fine.
for well, not as
Not
much,
all, no.
but yeah, you're right. For example, kanang procession, for example, right? Procession nga, purting trapika, di ba? Yeah, so in my head, these Spaniards who taught us to do this, you know what I mean?
Like-
you know what I mean? Like, not you know, of course, that's also one of the things that we love and the world loves about us is we're
Yeah.
still so in a way, I hate to use this word, but archaic, right? We're so still old world, right? A lot of things that we do are still very traditional,
Yeah.
right? Very provincial, very tribal, right?
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of Cebu, right?
Yeah.
Nga inana ata ba? Like, you know, like that can also be viewed as a good thing. That becomes like a tourist attraction, right?
Yeah.
People come here from all walks of life, from all over the world, to witness how this little country is still operating in a certain way, right? That's
Yeah.
unique to them. And
Yeah.
itanaw nilang buangol, daghan na niyo, like daghan ng tawa niyo, di ba? Like that's so interesting, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that also really surprised me coming back after 6 years in Butuan,
Okay.
coming back to Cebu, is just like the sheer number of tourists
Uh-huh.
that are here now.
Yeah.
So it's not like this thing is like just like kind of a one-off type of thing. Now, I'll come here once, but they keep coming back as well. Like it's we are for the most part a popular tourist destination.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, some people don't know the Philippines, but they know Cebu.
Yeah.
In fact, they think that Cebu is like another country in and of itself.
Yeah.
I love talking about this next question ba. Kanang the meaning of progress ba. And what is progress? And di ba nakisugot mo kaganiha nga equality for all, right?
Yeah.
Is that what progress to you is? Like you feel nga the more equal the nation is, the more progressive it is to your eyes? Is that what progress is to you? Like, for example, is a place with super highways and skyscrapers be a progressive nation to you compared to a nation with no skyscrapers and no super highways? Is that a nation that's less progressive to you? Unsa man imong measure sa
Progress.
how progressive a nation is? Tanaw nimo.
Well, I definitely don't think it's the highways thing and the skyscrapers. It's I just view that as an aspect of
Progress.
industrialization.
Okay.
And industrialization doesn't necessarily mean progress.
Okay.
It could be a sign of it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like the key factors.
Okay.
Well,
So what's the key factor?
Well, how do I say this?
Unsa may pananaw nimo nga makaingon ka nga ang nasod is progressive? Di ba kadaghanan sa mga unsa na atong ipanghambog, di ba? Sa atong mga bisita sa gawas, for example, kung nga kanang progressive na kita nga kuyo ka itong mga auto, di ba? Kay mo Ginoo na makita nimo, di ba nga kuyo kay mga building, ang mga yuta niya kay kaning kuwapo kay mga balay, ana bitaw ni taguan na to ang mga squatters area, ana bitaw, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sa mo man na atong unsa tawag na atong flex ba? Di ba? So instead of flexing bay walay pobre sa mo bay. You know what I mean? Atong flexing guwapo kay mga auto na mo, you know, like
Yeah.
we have all of these landmarks, you know?
Yeah.
So nga tong flex murag usahay sayop ba?
Ilagi.
Mga flex na to ngayon na niya atong taguan atong mga pobre.
Ang atong mga quote unquote the things that we don't want them to see. Mga mga hugaw-hugaw na to. quote
Oh,
unquote.
correct. So unsa tanaw niyo ba? Unsay how do you say that a nation is progressive? Okay. Kanang America, whether we like it or not, is the number one country in the world in terms of economic power, right? They're
Yeah.
number one. Second is China, right? And
Yeah.
third is, I think, Japan or one of those countries, right? Or maybe India. I don't know. I don't know what's going on now in the world, but more or less,
Yeah.
we can both agree.
Yeah.
The United States is number one, right? So they're the most, quote unquote, one of the most progressive countries in the world in many measures, diba? Not
Many
all,
aspects.
but many aspects, diba? So kaninga, is that? Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that measure, with the measures that make the United States the number one country in the world? Economic, siguro, economic measures, diba?
Yeah.
Diba? Namay uman po, diba? Katong gross domestic happiness, diba? Nga, ang
yeah,
Bhutan started it all. Kunuhay nga ang imong sukdon dili ang GDP, ang GHP or gross national happiness or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So imong sukdon dili ang kwarta sa imong nasod, ang imong sukdon ang kalipay sa imong mga tao, di ba? So Denmark came out number 1 as the happiest place in the world, di ba? So line po na siya nga measure of success, of progress, right? So ikaw ba tanaw nimo ba? Unsa magyud sakto nga sukod nga makaingon ka nga ang nasod progressive?
Maybe it's the colonial mindset kicking in, pero definitely the economic nga aspect. Because I think with a better economic nga situation, it unlocks so many things for the people, like their pursuit of their personal happiness.
Okay.
For one thing, that's something that could be unlocked by better economic situation. I don't know the factors. Denmark came out number 1.
The factors are kaning the one that we talked about earlier: access to healthcare, peace and order, safety, education. Those are the measures of kaning their happiness ba?
Yeah.
Nga kung masakit ka, di ka mahadlok nga basigway mo, di ka ka-afford. Kung manganak ka, di ka mahadlok ka, di ka ka-afford patubo si mong anak, pag-raise si mong anak, right? So mo nang mga sukod nila.
Yeah. Okay, I just recently I saw a joke online about Denmark being the happiest nation in the world, and then they put it next to an article that mentioned the suicide rate in Denmark, and I was like, oh. So I thought when they were talking about like happiness, they were talking about, okay, I'm a happy person, like they just wrote down I'm a happy person or something like that, and basically the reason why
I think suicide rates are a kind of indicator, right, of how possibly unhappy a nation is. But it's also possible nga kanang mag-suicide. It's a kind of mental condition, right?
Yeah.
It's a kind of depression, di ba?
Yeah.
And I think depression is not just environmental, meaning to say it's affected by your surroundings. It's affected by the nation in which you live in. It's also internal also ba?
Yeah.
Like psychological ba? Like maybe chemical. Something like a kind of chemical imbalance or whatever, right?
Maybe, yeah.
So I don't know if suicide rates are a good measure of
happiness
or even progress, diba? But you can certainly make an argument for it nga, like
maybe
daghang maghikog pasabutan ang wasan ng lipay, diba?
Oh, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But I'm not sure what the science says about that, but I'm still kind of skeptical about the correlation between suicide rates and the progress and
or happiness.
Or happiness, right?
Yeah.
Right? So mo na siya nga importante kayo nga ato nang that's why we're talking about this, because possibly man nga progressive na kayo ang nasod pero economically pero dili malipayon ang ilang mga tao, di ba?
Yeah.
For example, kanang Amerika lang, balik pa sa Amerika.
Yeah, lagi.
Progressive kayo sila. Number 1 nation in the world sila economically. Pero ilang healthcare, bati kayo. Compared to, let's just say again, back to Denmark, even Canada.
Yeah.
Like, even Australia, di ba? Nga ilang healthcare system nito, free na tanan. Kita sa Amerika, dili pa. Dito sa Amerika, dili pa, di ba? So lahi ilang priorities because they're democracy. So, ang ilang healthcare system dito is privatized. So, mura og ang makadaog ang pinakamaayo og benefits what not, right? So
ang public healthcare pod nila kay dili pod
mo lagi kay na privatize man nila. So nahitabo is ang mga insurance companies, ang healthcare industry napahimos pod na nga butanga diya kay they can do whatever they want man kay free market man. So mo na siya nga maglibog ka ngano man nga ang pinakadato nga nasod sa kalibutan ang ilang healthcare inferior rin noon kumpara sa uban nga dili as progressive as they are, right? So it's really just a matter of priorities also, di ba?
Maybe.
Right?
maybe. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Kung mag-ingon ka nga access to healthcare, I think we can all agree, right? Nga at least between the two of us nga healthcare, kung ako masakit ko, akong mama masakit, ang papa masakit, nya wakoy resources to put him in a good hospital to get the proper healthcare. I think we can both agree nga proper healthcare would we would think that as something that's akin to progress, diba?
Yeah.
So
Or access to it.
yeah, so priorities siguro sa nasod ba isa?
Probably, yeah. Like, kung kung aha nila feel ang morning pinaka bugat nga problema sa sa atong citizens karon, and then it's all about how to answer those problems.
But ang problema sa problema sa mga nasod ba is actually maybe perhaps even all problems is dili ram gud usa ra gud.
Dili bitaw.
Dili kanang like we're such a complex we live in very complex times. The human being is so complicated. Life is so complicated nga ang mga problema sa mga nasod dili gid usa ra ka buok. It's really like all problems happening at the same time.
Multifaceted.
Oh, so solving one doesn't make things better
Yeah.
right away, or in fact, it never gets better because when you solve one,
Maybe another problem
arises, diba?
Yeah.
So, unsaon mo lang ni bay? Like mo bitaw mo admire jud ko anang mga tao bitaw nga want to be in leadership positions karon padung namang eleksyon, diba? Padung nag-eleksyon sa mayor, senador, wala tay presidente karon, pero kaning kung saan man kanila pag in their heads ba, like how do they intend to solve the problems of the nation, of the city, even of the barangay? Saan kanila ang problema magdungan-dungan man, dili man usa ka problema
Lagi.
nga may tabo, magdungan man ang problema, like is there like a level of delusion that is required for you to be in politics? But tanaw nimo ba? Tanaw nimo. Do you think delusion is an important instrument
To be a politician?
and actually not just that ba? Ikita karon. There's a level of narcissism and delusion that we have, both of us. We think that people are listening, that whatever we're saying is important.
Yeah.
That whatever we're saying is intelligible. Nga dili ta murag nga buang paminahon diri gastorya. You know what I mean? So there's a level of confidence. I would say a level of delusion that we have that allowed us to have this stupid conversation, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is the role of delusion in all of life? Dili natin i-isolate sa ko, dili isolate sa
lang
politiko.
politics.
Maluoy ta sa
In
to
life, Jud.
maluoy ta sa to mga amigo nga mga politiko. Sa kinabuhi lang diyan. Do you think that delusion is a useful fiction?
Well, well, now that you bring it up, yeah, I'd probably agree with that concept, because you could use delusion not just as a form of a confidence booster, thinking to yourself that I can do this, I know how to do this, but as a way to comfort yourself as well, because there really is no guidebook on how to do life in general.
What do you mean? There's so many books out there. So many self-help books. There's the there's the Quran. There's the Bible. There's the this and the that. Right?
Yeah,
So
there's this and that.
what do you mean? There's so many
But
books out there,
even
man.
when it comes to picking your self-help book, I think you need a certain level of delusion in yourself to think, okay, I think this is the better self-help book.
Okay.
Because what makes this book better than that book? It's something that you have to decide for yourself. And once again, is there a guidebook to tell you, oh, this is the better self-help book, and this is that, and this and that is which is better? Like, when it comes to stuff like that, you have to, in a way, delude yourself into thinking that something is that you know the answers to questions in life. and to questions that you might pop up in just some of the regular aspects
So
of life.
what you said, you have to delude yourself that you know the answers.
Yeah. Or
So
something along the lines of that.
mura kag, you just picked one and went with it, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna. There's so many choices. I don't know what the hell is the truth, but I'm just gonna pick one, right?
Yeah.
So
And
and go with it, right?
Yeah, and kind of delude yourself into thinking that I made the right choice.
But don't you have an opportunity to change your mind? Don't you have the opportunity to know better?
We always have the opportunity to change our minds and to know better, but maybe it's precisely because of that delusion that we deluded ourselves into thinking that the choice we made was immediately the right choice. Maybe that's part of the reason why a lot of people, myself included, can have difficulties when it comes to admitting that they made a mistake, admitting that maybe this wasn't the right choice. That kind of cognitive dissonance that pops up when it comes to that. Maybe that's part of the reason why. It's because we've deluded ourselves into thinking that we already knew
but isn't not choosing also kind of confusing? Don't you? Mura kag wala kay guardrails ba? Wala kay kind of guidance ba? Because you did not pick one.
Yeah.
You did not choose a way of being, a way of looking at the world, a way of navigating through the world. So, mas may lang tong uban nga nakapili sila unsa ilang buhaton kay at least bahala nagsayop sila pero at least consistent sila ba? Anya murag it is a kind of a way forward, di ba? Daghan man na sila pod. Daghan man pod sila nga parehag panguna-una. Nga mo din ni akong buhaton, I'll pick up one book, for example. And all the contents of this book is a way to navigate through the world. Daghan man pod nga parehan lago na huna by the billions, right? So pareha man sila panguna-una. So mura sa kind of collective delusion unya paghuman magtinabangay sila. So they're allowed to cooperate because they believe in this one book, right? So in a way, their delusion is materialized.
Yeah.
And they become successful because they chose one book. They chose one way of looking at the world, and everybody is helping each other to accomplish their dreams because of that delusion, right? So I think that's an example of a useful delusion, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was trying to get at. That this that delusion can, in fact, or at least in my opinion,
Okay.
rather, delusion can be a useful tool in your everyday life, because it's both a source of confidence and at the same time comfort. At least in my opinion.
Okay. So these delusions give us comfort.
And confidence at the same time.
Comfort and why is that important? Why is confidence and comfort important? Because it's such a difficult world out there and then there's so many people that are trying to compete for the same pie, for the same piece of land, for example, or whatever, the limited resources. So mag-away kita, diba? So we need a kind of confidence also nga we're better than this guy, right?
Yeah.
Or comfort also, because when we fail, at least you know nga there's this idea that or this delusion will take care of us, right?
Yeah, or something you were trying to get to.
Yeah, right.
Something like that.
Yeah, I like that. Useful delusions. The useful delusion that kita diri sa storya ta nga naminaw nga atong gihisgutan kay is even useful to them. But but I think it's also useful to us, at least to me. Talking to you, talking to another person, and I think kay kana mo gong ideas ba, di ba? Ideas can't survive. The word is not survive. Ideas can't progress in a vacuum. Ideas have to run in contact with other ideas, right?
With counters.
Because you know how good or how stupid your idea is, right? If it bumps into another idea, if your truth bumps into another truth, right?
Yeah.
And whatever it is that you deeply so believe in changes, diba?
Yeah.
I believe that gravity doesn't exist, and you throw you jump off a building and then
You fall.
then you fall, and then you survive, but you're injured, right?
Yeah.
So murag like your truths have to run in contact with other people's truths, right? Do you think that we are doing it often enough? Do you feel that we all live in a kind of our proverbial bubble? Nga dili ta- we don't expose ourselves into other truths. That's why we're so stubbornly adhering to our truth without even exposing it to other truths. Do you feel nga we are like that? Do you feel that you are like that sometimes? Not all the time.
I'd definitely say that I can be like that, and I'd say that that's like how people are in general. Na we kind of stick to our proverbial nga bubble, and
Does it go back to what you just said? Nga it gives us confidence and comfort, the bubble that we're in.
in a way, yeah. Because if you're just sticking to your own bubble, you're just regurgitating
Yeah.
and hearing your own thoughts,
Yeah,
basically.
People
being being
like-minded people, right? No,
Yeah,
mura kag
like-minded people,
"Ah,
being
I believe what you believe in, right?
Yeah, yeah, and then it just gives you this additional confidence.
Yeah.
That, oh yeah,
Confirmation bias,
Yeah,
diba?
confirmation bias.
Uh-huh.
Because more people, a lot of a certain this person agrees with me,
Uh-huh.
therefore my idea was right.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that.
And
And it's because that's such a
so you can never be wrong.
yeah.
In other words, you're
yeah.
rarely wrong because
Yeah.
everybody agrees with you.
Yeah, more or
because
less.
you're reading from the same book, right?
Yeah.
For example, diba?
Oh.
So is that good? Is that a good thing?
I definitely not.
Okay.
Definitely not a good thing, because if we're keeping ourselves in our own bubble, then we're not testing out if whether or not our ideas are as good as we think they are.
But a billion people think that your ideas are good. You know, that's already 1/8 of the planet, right?
Yeah.
So what's the holdup? I mean, like, why not continue the way that I am? Why don't I continue the way that I live? Anyway, there's a billion people who will support me, will help me. Like, you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
I can't let the other 7 billion believe in what I believe in.
Yeah.
But 1 billion is surely enough for me.
Yeah.
Right? So what's the point in going outside of my bubble when my bubble has allowed me to survive all these years? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I get that.
What's the higher goal then? If all we are, katong hisugutan na to ganiha nga, all we
Yeah.
are is we just want to be loved and be loved,
Yeah.
and have less suffering and more joy. You know what I mean? And we don't want to be alone, and we want to, and all of these human desires, right?
Yeah.
Kung mahimo ko ana maginana lang, I all of those are satisfied in my bubble. Why do I need to get in contact with other bubbles? They will only destroy my perception of the world, and then I am like,
Kind of left shattered.
I'm shattered, and I'm vulnerable now because I don't have the comfort and the what was the other word that you used? The confidence. Right? Because now I'm looking at a world that's irrecognizable. I don't know this world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think okay na siya nang nakasbabol ba kay daghan man kayo, daghan mo pugayod mo nga pareha mo panguna-una, maka mabuhi ra man ka
Yeah.
nga maghunahuna ka nga imong kalibutan maura gyud ni.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Well,
What's a bigger goal then if that's not wrong? That's not right for you.
Well, I would say that the bigger goal is uh, changing the world for the better. Because if we're content with what we have, and we never try to explore what's out there, we'll never really know for sure that if what we have is just right, just enough, and maybe there's more to life than just staying in your comfort zone. Because I'd say like staying inside your bubble is similar to staying in your comfort zone. And well, like I said, I'm here now because I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
And
So-
I see it as as a way to improve myself as a person.
Okay.
And I think that in order for us, maybe this is another step to improving to society as well, is if we're all able to get out of our bubble and explore the free marketplace of ideas every now and then. We don't have to do it all the time, of course, but just enough that we're able to test the waters with our ideas and our ideals and our concepts for how life, how society ought to be, and all
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I think we're able to improve on that specifically because we're able to go out of our bubble and test the free marketplace of ideas.
Also, may advantage na ba? Let's just say I believe that the world is flat, for example, right?
Yeah.
And I've survived and in fact thrived because of that belief, right? Onya, so what will it do to me and to my 1 billion or so co-inhabitants of the bubble, which ironically is round, believe in? Like we were successfully navigating through the world for millennia, believing that the Earth is flat. So why do I need to get in contact with those non-flat Earthers?
Well,
What's the advantage to me?
expanding your understanding of the world, because
So what's expanding my understanding of the world going to do to me?
well, for one thing, it's going to correct that belief.
So what if I've had the wrong worldview? Isn't the goal to survive? Isn't
Yeah.
the goal to have more joy and less suffering and be loved and love? Isn't that the goal? Nganom day kung sayop ako ang assumption nga the world is flat. Nganom day so may naana like I'm not gonna go outside of the world. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like unsa may so that's why I was asking what the bigger goal is, because the bigger goal I propose based on what you said
Yeah.
is to find or get ever so closer to what is true, right?
Yeah.
So that might be a bigger goal. The goal of building better societies, a better planet, will not necessarily benefit from knowing the world is not flat, na spherical yung world eh.
Yeah.
But just the simple goal of being able to get in closer
Closer to the
proximity
truth.
to what is true, I think is a kind of goal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah. And I maybe that was like a better way of to put what I was trying to say earlier.
Okay.
I think that's what I was trying to get
Okay.
at,
Okay.
to better your understanding or to get closer to the truth. At the
So
very least, something like that.
why is a truth important? So may naan ang truth. You know, you can survive with a lie for your entire lifetime believing whatever it is that you're believing, and then you die, right?
Yeah.
So we only have a limited time on this planet. Di man kita mabuhi forever, right? So we will never understand the entire truth, right? So why is just being closer to a truth important? That you have to destroy my notion of a flat earth, Right?
Yeah.
Ngano man day kung flat earth akong pagtuod so may labot nimo. Ngano man day dili ni tinuod day. Ngano man day. So may what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
Right? You understand what I'm trying to say? I'm trying
Yeah.
to inhabit the mind of a flat earther.
Yeah.
Right? So unsay tan-aw nimo? Ano man day? Dili mo sa we're not gonna live forever. So you know, I'm not going to make an effort in my limited brain bandwidth to understand that part of it because that will not benefit me. You know what I mean? Like you, all of us will never understand our true circumstance. All we can do is to get ever so closer. Hopefully, again, that's a kind of delusion. I think also a kind of delusion. We're getting closer to whatever is true, right?
Yeah.
But we'll never get there. I know.
And so what's the benefit to it?
Why try?
Yeah.
Why try? Right? Ngano man dehing flat earth lang deh ko deh. Okay ra man kuan na bay. Right?
Yeah,
Think about it for a while, bro, right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a
okay
good
naman na,
question to ask.
Ngano man deh kung flat earth lang. So may naanang flat earth.
Yeah, but that's a good question to ask.
Yeah.
And
Seriously, man. Ngano man deh?
yeah, I honestly don't have an answer to that.
Yeah.
Like, what benefit would it be
To you,
to
kung flat earther ka, nga
yeah.
lingin deh ang kalibutan spherical deh.
Yeah, I mean, if mayroon sila nga, I've survived just fine with this
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
So
What's
what's the benefit?
Unsa man, why are you imposing? Let's just say ganahan jud ka nakaimigo nga flat earther ba?
Oh.
Yeah, kaning imong you made it a mission in your life to let him see the world as it really is. It's spherical, right? So but nga naman like what's your goal ka? Mora gito ka so that they'll understand
Better.
the truth, their true circumstance.
Oh.
But so what? Like, unsa man na, wa man ay purpose. Wa man ay gamit. Right? Kuno na unsa may gamit ba? Nga magunahon na ka nga kalibutan spherical versus flat. Wala sa. Murag, there's no conceivable advantage ba?
Well, besides knowing for certain that you're not gonna fall off the edge of the world.
That they have a they have an answer to that. Like the flat earthers have a anong di ka mahog. I forgot what it is.
I didn't even know they had an answer to that. I thought,
They're 100% convinced ko sila good.
oh, well,
Aside from that, let's just say I'll grant you that nga hadlok sila mahog sila sa edge of the world, right? I grant you that, but you know they don't feel the need to travel that far. They just wanna travel to the four corners of the globe.
yeah. Well,
Walay gamit ba sa? Walay gamit.
I really can't think of anything. Jen.
Wala,
Oh,
di ba?
okay, mauna.
Wala. So okay ra gyud dahil nga
It's okay to be a flat earther, guys.
it's okay to believe in fictions
Yeah,
as long as it serves you well, di ba?
to an extent.
Yeah?
I would believe to an extent.
Yeah.
So
Nga okay ra gyud na nga magtuo ka nga ang flat ang kalibutan basta kay number one makabenepisyo na nimo. Number two, dili ka maka-harm og other people, right?
yeah, I think those are like two key aspects of it that makes it kind of hard to argue against. I mean, they're no harm to anybody, and to them, it's a comforting thought.
Yeah.
So, what's wrong with it, right? So yeah, I
So because you were talking about a higher purpose, better world, right?
yeah.
So dili mas siguro magubat siguro ba kung ang flat earther o ground earthers they run in contact with each other, right? Right? Dili mas siguro sila magubat ba nga no, I wanna
Depende ra guro kung sa reaction nila.
Do you know what I mean? Like what I'm trying to say ba is kana nga mga kind of useful fiction. Dili mo siguro na divisive siya in the sense nga pero dili it's not gonna
enough to start a fight something.
pero mag-away ba na sila ba? Mag-away ba na sila? Flat earther or dili?
sa akong nakita so far kay usually verbal raman ang mga battles nila. So I haven't seen a physical nga altercation yet.
Yeah.
Pero for the most part, it's just verbal and a lot of flat earthers who try to prove that the world is flat. Kana.
Yeah.
Mo na ako makita.
Yeah, I see that a lot. But I think Manggod, na mga butang pod, mga beliefs pod nga if it runs in contact with another ideology, mag-away po sila, di ba? Kanang gubat, di ba? Kanang religious divisions, di ba?
There's that.
Pagtuo nila nga ang kanang yutaag, yatag na sa Ginoo para nila. You know what I mean? It's the promised land and all of that stuff, like kanang mga Israel versus Palestine. By the way, they're having a ceasefire now, right?
Yeah.
Soon to have a ceasefire. So
I think it's already in play now.
Yeah, but I think the Gaza hasn't signed it yet or whatever.
No, they did.
Already did.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I think they did.
Anyway, that's an example of a fiction. They don't call it fiction, but a story, that a narrative that one group has and another group has. They run in contact with each other. Yeah,
they end up
fighting.
Yeah,
because one cannot exist without the other, diba? Murag kaning unlike flat earther or round earther, lahi po ang dynamic sila, diba?
Yeah.
So unsaon man nato nga dili ta mag how can we make it in such a way that two different ideologies like a religious ideology, when they run in contact, it'll be just like a flat earther and a round earther. Maglalis go sila pero dili sila magubat. You know what I mean? But the problem with the narrative involves
something. Yeah, but I think
conflict, di ba? Involves the annihilation of another for one to exist or something like that, right?
At the very least, it's gotten to that point now.
Yeah.
Now, but I think we can't really compare the two.
Okay.
Because when it comes to what's happening in Israel and Palestine right now, you're looking at two factions with the military power, and you know how it is when we have military power. Some people just really want to exercise it. So that's probably one of the key differences between that and flat earthers versus round earthers.
Okay.
Because you don't really, the flat earthers nor the round earthers for that matter, or at the very least the ones that they come into clash with, neither of them have like their own set military powers that they will use to force their beliefs on each other. Because one thing that both examples share is that one side is trying to force their beliefs on the other, and vice versa, and it's because it's probably because they don't have the the physical force necessary to force those beliefs on the other, that you don't see round earthers and flat earthers just start shooting each other in the middle of the street or something along the lines of that. So I don't think there's really a comparison between that type of
worldview.
Yeah, those types of worldviews clashing with each other, because there is military force behind the others, and this one there is none.
None. Okay. What ka ba? Basig naghimo na nagganing military ang mga flat earthers, di ba?
What about? Maybe they're meeting up somewhere and setting up an army already. As we speak right now, they're invading.
But you're right, man. Like, I guess they have no military force or anything similar to that. Nga magubat sila. But then again, what would they fighting? What would they be fighting for? What would victory look like? Right? Like, so if the world sees the way they do, then what? Right?
Victory would be
like
to create a bigger bubble, basically.
Yeah, but like if you convert everybody to flat earthers, you still are not
necessarily
have to have an advantage, or how does a win look like for the flat earthers? But for the religious wars, although we're actually very guilty of oversimplifying the war in
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Israel because
definitely.
it's more than just religious. But I think it's partly religious, but it's not only religion,
Yeah.
right?
It's only one aspect.
Yeah, one aspect of the war. But I think Manggod, for me, this I'm gonna say this on, but it's a personal belief. I think over certainty is the enemy. I think kung sigurado na juga ayo ka nga mauna ni kang kamatuuran, makikpatay juga na niya.
Lagi.
You're gonna want to die for that thing because you're so
Convinced.
convinced that this is the way to look at the world. And I think the world can benefit from just a little humility ba.
Yeah.
I believe in this. This is, because my parents told me that this is true, and my school told me this is true, but, the nature of truth, it's ever evolving, ever changing. So I don't know. I might change my mind. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
So, but in the meantime,
This is what
this is what I believe in. But,
and this is what works for me.
yeah, it works for me, but, doesn't mean this is set, right?
Yeah.
And whatever it is that you believe in, I hope you also feel the same.
Yeah.
So what we can do is we can compare notes and talk, and then, but we all can agree that we like to love and be loved, and we like to suffer less and be joyful more, and we like to be healthy,
Yeah.
and have access to healthcare. That we can agree on, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And when we let's move forward with that.
Yeah.
Grabe mo kayo ka-personal sa mga tao ang ilang mga pagtuogod.
Yeah. Personal. Himo nilag personal did.
Yeah, but you also can't help them because you also can't blame them. I mean, because kanagong pagtuugod kana imong ideology, imong relihiyon, mo gina imong pananaw sa kalibutan. You chose
yeah.
a specific lens to look at the world, right?
Yeah.
So this is my point of view.
Yeah.
And kana manggong way of living manggod, it can't help but also want to convert. It can't help but want to want for you to be like them also.
Bring others into
bring
the fold.
others because naman good, like at the end of all of this, you're gonna go to a happy place, for example, right? So kung ikaw anak kanako niya nagtuo ko malangit ka kung mutuo ka ni, then ganahan sa ka nga ubanon sa kanako kay di mo ganahan nga may impyerno ka or whatever
Lagi.
whatever your
Yeah.
ideas are, right? They can't really help it
Yeah.
because that's what they believe in.
Yeah.
And it actually comes from a place of love also.
Yeah, it
Na
does.
you convert ka nako kay para malangit sa ka.
Lagi.
Right? Like kung kuan ka, kung Muslim ka, like you'll enjoy the 72 virgins, right? you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whatever you believe in, like there's so many different ways of killing this cat. What I'm saying
Yeah.
is, so it comes from a good place also, right?
Yeah.
Pero
If it comes from a good place, why can't it
manifests itself in a good way also, di ba?
in a peaceful way?
Yeah, right,
Eh,
right.
To an extent.
Mo lagi so muna na ang akong punto di ang over certainty is the enemy.
Yeah.
Nga kung sigurado manggugod, dili manggod, mao mo ginamit ang bugod. Pero pag ka nakadto gali,
Yeah. Okay.
pag ka namatay,
Lagi.
right? So anong amo mo gani gisulti sa libro good. So mo na siya. That's what I mean. So I think over certainty is the enemy, but you also can't live with your you also can't live in a way nga you're always also doubtful all the time also, di ba? Lisod sa kina that's so there must be a healthy mix between certainty and skepticism and doubt, right? And humility, di ba? Maybe like there's a sweet spot, like a Goldilocks zone, di ba nga? You're kind of confident but not quite, but it's enough for you to move forward.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Yeah. Definitely trying to find like a balance.
Yeah.
In that approach to your life, and at the same time, getting out of your bubble.
Yeah.
Something like that. I think that's ideal.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, but then again, we're all different. But
Yeah, we're all different.
this
We're all-
conversation can go on forever,
It
right? But
certainly
we
can.
gotta go because it's already 12 noon, and I think murag akong mga bitok ba nawag na bay. Hoy, kani nga mga doon na ta, manguli na mo kay humana na ta. So, mga kaigalaan, thank you so much for being part of our show. This is Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice, and it's such a pleasure to talk to you, Ralph Chavez. Daghang salamat sa imong pag-ari diri uh, I've learned so much from you and from just talking to you. And sometimes manggod ba importante sad nga imong mga ideas, imong mga thoughts will also run into another thought, di ba?
Yes.
Okay, in the same way that a bubble runs into another bubble, the bubble pops, and then you have now this new truth. Nga, murag, it's also the same. Nga, however strongly you feel about something, if it bumps into another thought, then it becomes like a whole new other thought, right?
Yes.
Which is probably more holistic, and it's ever closer to an idea, and what we think is an ideal, which is closer to a truth, right?
Yes.
Do you have any final messages? Go ahead, man.
Oh, well, final messages. Just like to say, I'm certainly happy to be here. I'm happy that I'm in an actual radio broadcast for the first time in my life. And I'd also like to greet all of our upcoming guests for this upcoming Sinulog. And that's about it.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's do it again next time on 105.1 TMC, The Best of Us.
Kuya Magic! Are you doing your show? Are you doing your show? This is Kuya Magic. This is Ralph Chavez from UP.
Can't.
Huh?
Can't do my show.
Okay.
The reason why is because
Okay.
we got booted last night.
I'm just asking. I'm not.
We got booted last night.
What's buoy?
Booted.
Booted.
After incentive program.
What
One of
is
the
that?
songs slipped through. It was a song by the guy, the guy that came here and visited us and said he would promote his fire thing. Fire.
Sequence.
Alex.
Phil?
Something.
Alex Limia.
That song slipped through yesterday on the line. I don't know how. It was a morning show, but they wanted to.
That particular song?
You should message him and say, bro, come on, give us some royalties. We're promoting it. We should get paid. How are you, man? Nice to meet you.
Hey, man.
Welcome
Nice
to
meeting you.
TMC.
Ralph is from the communications department of UP. They're doing a love show. Their chancellor, the head of UP, will be hosting it. And he's just here as a part of the dance party, as well as he also wants a career here in media.
All right. Okay. You come to the right place.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
we're gonna have like a love advice show for locals.
Yeah, fam, but
That would be a fam.
Yeah.
You will also have an AFAM show. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What happened
whatever.
what happened to Black Panther, man?
Yeah, he's down. He's just got to figure out a way to monetize it. He said. So I said, see if it does.
Just started, man.
Foreigners' perspective on love advice.
Oh, all
But
right.
that's
That's
just started.
interesting.
Huh?
You know what I mean? Start now, get good later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. That's the thing.
We just started. You know, like
Yeah.
whatever he's trying to do.
But once you let him loose, he's off.
Huh?
Once you let him loose, he's.
So what? You know, we're off.
Once the engines are started, you know, you can't stop him, bro. That's it.
Just get it running.
I think it'll be popular.
I know. No, bro. I don't think. I know it's gonna be popular. Ano ba na good? AFAM nga. Wala pa yung nabi. AFAM nga love advice show ba, di ba?
Yeah, I don't think so. I've
Wala pa, di ba? Kadanghanan mga Papa Joe, mga Dr. Love, mga local lang na.
Oh, lagi.
Ay, the microphone there.
I guess like, was it like a Jerry Springer, but.
Yeah. Pero dili ba, like, kamo mo advice siya.
What's your situation, bro? Okay. This
So,
is
ang mga listener, mga listener, mga people are looking for AFAMs also, right?
Okay.
Right?
That's